Brooklyn fragrance lover. Brooklyn fragrance lover. Brooklyn fragrance lover.
I missed it.
Yeah,
this is really cool. Laid back, nice and
refreshing.
quiet.
Yeah, totally. So today we're going to talk about the differences or indifferences of Acqua di Gio Profumo and Acqua di Gio Profondo. Keep it right there.
Brooklyn fragrance lover. Brooklyn fragrance lover. Brooklyn fragrance lover. Brooklyn fragrance lover.
Thanks so much for tuning in today, as always. I really do appreciate it and hope you're all doing fantastic, or as well as you can be during this world health crisis that we're going through. Did I have to bring that up? Yeah, it's on everybody's brain. So, peace and health to all of you. Profondo, profumo.
I don't know. Is it confusing to consumers? I mean, similar name, different colored bottles, obviously. And I think those who are like the Acqua di Gio fanboys, they know what's what, right? And so you have quite a few flankers yourself, don't you?
I have a Senza. I have Absolute. And I had Absolute Instinct. I traded it.
Okay, cool, fair enough.
Not because I didn't like it. It just was sitting there. So sometimes people have deals, and when you have something that you're not using, you might as well give it to somebody who's going to use it, and you'll get something that you're going to wear.
True, and you probably wouldn't see yourself wearing it as often as some of these other ones.
Right.
Brooklyn fragrance lover. Brooklyn fragrance lover.
What's up, everyone? I'm Carlos. I'm joined by the beautiful Stephanie again. Hope you got to watch our 1-year anniversary video, which posts on July 17th. We're going to shoot another one, a quick one. I didn't do any dry down strips or anything. These are just some of my newest acquisitions, some new releases, and some new stuff for me that's old, but it's new for me, that she's going to rate and see what she thinks of them. Quick and simple, just first impression, like, don't like, maybe like, and that's it. No top anything here. Just she's going to rate my new acquisitions. Cool, yeah?
Cool.
All right.
Got it.
All right, this one is from a while ago. This is Le Parfum,
Interesting bottle.
Fahrenheit Le Parfum.
It's a very different scent. I don't hate it. I don't love it. It's like right in the middle.
Cool. Right in the middle. Stuck in the middle with you. You know that song?
Yeah.
That's an old song.
Stuck in the middle with you.
Oh, no. It's like it flew away.
Stuck in the middle.
All right, there you go. The one, don't you go mind of the one, Eau de Parfum. Something's missing.
That's lovely.
Why did you put that away? You missed it.
What?
Hold on.
What did I do?
Your phone's supposed to be on airplane mode. You see how she plays me? Coño.
I didn't know you were. I didn't know you were filming. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
Let me take. Okay.
All right. So did you say how you felt about this one?
Yeah, I did.
You liked it or not?
Yes, I loved it.
You loved it.
Did I
okay.
love it?
I don't know. I forgot. Because you forgot when the bottles
No,
on
I
the
loved it.
All right. So that's love. All right. Cool. Informal. Just she likes it, doesn't like. No rating. No nothing here.
That's Valentino.
Valentino Uomo Aqua.
Ooh.
Ooh, I had the same reaction when I first smelled it.
Ooh.
So you like that opening, huh?
Ooh. That's a nice
A
opening.
lot of oohs there.
Yeah. that is different. That's wow. Okay.
California Clementine from Atelier Cologne. Oh, Clementine, California, excuse
Little
me.
bottle.
Here you go, my dear.
Very good. Carlos, what are you doing to me? This is a 1, 2, 3 video. Eliminate, but I can't even eliminate any of them yet. In my mind, I can't.
Next up, Florentine Iris from the Xenia luxury collection.
Okay. I spoke too soon. I don't like this one. I'm sorry. I don't like that.
All right, no worries. This one, I don't have a bottle yet. I have a decant, but a bottle is on the way. I ordered it today. It's the new Tom Ford Private Blend. Oud Mineral. There you go, my dear.
No,
Okay.
easy about that.
Well, it's a mineral. This is the magic, and this is a little better on the dry down on skin.
Yeah?
It's a little like I had the same impression when I first smelled it. I was like, oh, what is this? I had to play with it for about a week or two, and then it grew on me, and the way it wore on skin much better than paper. So,
Okay. I trust you what you say.
Lone Prada Intense. This is what I wore to the Fragrance Foundation Awards. The pictures when I was in a tux.
Fancy.
Again.
I'm surprised I can't picture you wearing this scent. But
I love it. Well, now you can picture me very well because I'm wearing it now.
yeah, maybe it smells like really, like it smells different on your skin, but on the paper.
So we all know how Gaga she went over the original of Salvatore Ferragamo Uomo. This
Yeah.
is Salvatore Ferragamo Uomo Casual Life. Don't know who came up with that name,
I
but
just really hope that I don't get let down right now.
you're gonna find out right now.
Introducing Mr. Smelly's fragrance reviews with the international leader of the worldwide fragrance community, Mr. Smelly 1977.
Nothing's gonna change my love for super chats. You wanna know by now how much I love them. One thing you can be sure of, I'll never ask for more than 20 euro. Nothing's gonna change my love for super chats. You wanna know by now how much I love them. The world may change my whole life through, but super chats I'll still be loving you.
The wisdom of Malarco. Introducing General Anesthetic, leader of the Democratic Republic of Tajikistan. Mr. Smelly's Drama Inferno. Sign if you don't know how. Super chat now, click the dollar sign if you don't know how.
And guys, welcome back to everybody in the community. Welcome to a very, very special episode tonight. Listen, guys, we are still going to have all the normal fun and games. It's not going to be all serious and sad, but we are going to pay a very, very big tribute to the Brooklyn fragrance lover himself, Carlos Powell, who we very, very sadly lost this 2 years ago. This week, it feels weird to even be saying that. Still kind of one of those things that you think that couldn't have really happened, did it? No way. And we've got some amazing guests, including the kind of star guest tonight is probably the closest person to him in the fragrance community, Stephen from Redolessence channel, who's kindly agreed to be here. Also, Cuba is going to be here, and he was also someone who knew Carlos. And we also have many other people. Fragmental is going to hop on, and other people, some of our regular guests, will also give our thoughts. And I want your thoughts, guys. We're going to commemorate a very, very important person that we lost in this community 2 years ago, and I'm going to give you my own personal thoughts on that briefly first. But it doesn't mean the whole show will be downbeat, because, you know, if this was the week after it happened, then it would be. But it's 2 years on now, so the focus is on celebrating this amazing part of our community. We're all gutted that he's not here. It's painful, it's sad, But you know what? He's left behind an incredible legacy. He's left behind incredible memories for most of us who are probably watching this show, and that is what we are really going to focus on, the happy side of this great, incredible character. You don't know what you've you don't know what you've got till it's gone. Isn't that what they say? And once he was gone, I really realized how much of a huge character and asset he was to our wonderful community. So we're going to talk about that in a second. On that topic, though, in honor of him, we're going to do, I did a homeless thing, a charity thing for the homeless in the UK. So I thought this week, in honor of BFL, let's donate all Super Chat profits tonight. So all the Super Chats after YouTube takes its chunk, although I'll put some in too. I can't guarantee to put the whole lot in, because if you raise 1,000, I can't afford that. But I'll put in some money of my own. All Super Chat money tonight is going to go towards the New York City homeless charity. It's called the Homeless Coalition. I've forgotten what it's called. I will check that and double check. It's called the Homeless Coalition, and I'll put the link in the chat in a little bit. Basically, it is a coalition for the homeless, and it's in New York City, and they give meals and advocacy and stuff. I tried to pick one that's not political or anything weird like that. So it's just a charity that helps homeless people in New York City in honor of Carlos. We hope he would approve very much. It's all themed around him, though, tonight. We will have our normal segments like Am I the Arsehole and Cocktail Hour later on. We will talk about other stuff too. We've got his logo there, and it's all very much with a theme of Carlos. So let's just go to the chat there, guys. We need Super Chats. Please hit that Super Chat button. You can be the top Super Chat. 115 people already. That's great. And I know there'll be people watching who don't normally, so welcome. And I'm really pleased to have some extra people probably watching who don't normally tune into my live streams. The point tonight is to pay tribute to somebody. It just came into my attention that it did stick with me in a big way, that he's been gone 2 years. It hits me every February, the last 2 Februaries, and other days of the year, of course, that he's not with us. And I thought, you know what? Let's do something, because the internet moves so quickly, and it's all about the now or the future. It's not so much about the past. And we all were terribly upset after it happened. And then we all get on with our life and carry on uploading our videos. You know what? If he's up there watching, I want him to see, or if he's got friends and family who know about the fragrance, I want him to see that we still care. We still remember what this guy did for our community. Good evening, everyone, says What Sheds. Hello, hit that first Super Chat button, guys. Keep them coming. Come on. Great to see you in the chat there. What Sheds, great part of the community. I've got my Rolex on tonight, so we're going to talk about Carlos. Good morning, Gunnar. Go made coffee, scrambled eggs, salmon, served brown bread. Thank you so much for the thought there. Dan gets Stephanie on the channel. Never mind these asswipe Hey, Stephanie is great. Yes, she was. I picked out a couple of clips from typical videos where he's collaborating with his great friend Stephen, and of course there were some great ones where he got ladies that he worked with onto the show. And yes, I'm sure we all remember Stephanie fondly there, Bosman. We believe you, Dan. Where are the Super Chats, guys? Is the Super Chat button not working? These are in honor of Carlos tonight, and they all go to charity. So hit me. Now's your chance to be top Super Chatter of the night. And let's go to the chat there, the comments there. If you've got some great memories, please tell us. I discovered his channel. I loved this. What did you like about Carlos? What do you miss about him? Acid Green 22 BFL has always had pretty women on with him. He did have a knack of getting some really nice ladies on the channel, and he had great fun with them, great rapport between them. As even we saw that a little bit in the clip there with the lovely Stephanie. Acid Green 22, I liked his drinking games. Yeah, I love that. And because don't think I've been taking it all serious tonight. No, I'm having a drink because I think Carlos would approve. Okay. And you know what? This is the thing. If Carlos was here now, then people more often are streaming now. StreamYard's a bit easier and everything. I'm sure he would be. I think he might have been doing live streams, and his live stream would be amazing, wouldn't it? His live stream would be one of the top ones out there. He'd probably have like 400 people watching, and we'd all be tuned in, and that's why it's such a gutter that he's no longer with us. So let me just give my opinions on him quickly, guys. We haven't had a Super Chat net yet. Is there something actually wrong with the button? We have a goal. Let's get $400 on the board. We got 300 for the homeless the other week. So let's top that. We've got £300. Let's do $400 tonight. Gold Brokers Immobiliar. Hit that first Super Chat. Let's show that we're doing good in this community in the name of the great man himself. These are going to a homeless charity. His theme music is synonymous with my fragrance journey. Thank you. These are the kind of comments I want. I miss his energy and contact. Yes, indeed. Content, sorry. Yeah, thank you so much to Unadulterated Truth. I really, really appreciate that. First super chat of the night. Thank you, sir. Take it. I would only spend it on candy, cigarettes. Thank you, sir. You are a star. £2 super chat. That's £2 towards our goal. And we have a goal of 400, £2, which is a great start. Thank you so much. Let's do a banner for you then, because you are now the top super chatter of the day. Good chance to get in early. The real deal with a £2 super chat. The real deal. Now, come on, Americans. He's putting you to shame. This is all going to homeless people in the US of A. So see if you can beat that. £2 super chats are off for a great start there. I'm going to round these sort of roughly, okay, and I will get the exact figure and it will all be transparent. So I'll call that just $2, roughly speaking. I know it's a bit more, but whatever, and I'll get a good idea, and we can gauge it exactly so we can check that. 118 people here. Hit the thumbs up button, guys. All right, we're going to talk about the amazing Carlos, the Brooklyn fragrance lover. Stephen will be joining us very soon. So better do my quick own personal thought on it. Listen, here's what I had this experience with Carlos. An absolutely great part of the community. Thank you, Real Deal, for the super chatter. And you are now the top super chatter of the day. Let me just go back to that chat there. Hey, guys, super sticker coming in. It's Jason. John Easley has knocked you off the leaderboard. $5 super sticker. Thank you so much for the $5 super sticker. I genuinely appreciate that. That is absolutely amazing. Good for you. First one from the USA. Come on. It could be a competition between the USA, UK, and Europe. Who's going to win tonight? So thank you so much, John Easley. That is very generous of you. Any amount is really, really welcome. So whether you $50, $2, any amount is really, really, if everyone gave $1, we'd do great. Guys, 112 people, hit that thumbs up button. Super sticker from John Easley. Thank you so much to you, sir, in the USA. You are now the top super chatter of the night. All the super chats go to charity, to homeless charity for homeless people in New York City, Carlos' hometown there, guys. Okay. My memories of Carlos, and I just want to share that with you guys. I never met him in person, but I interacted with him a long time back in my fragrance journey on YouTube. I found him before I started my channel. He was one of those people that really inspired me. I thought he was a really entertaining, great reviewer. I loved that he had this unique kind of style about him. He had this very New York kind of character. And, he had the musical theme tune everyone loves and knows. That amazing Brooklyn fragrance lover theme tune that was so catchy and that just really got into your head. A real earworm. Now, he was a talented musician. He was born in the mid-60s. And you can see some great photos, actually. I'll try and put this on the screen in a minute. In fact, yeah, maybe just do that in a second. There are some beautiful pictures that I put on I made a little montage, what's it called? A montage of some pictures of Carlos. So there's some great ones with the huge lapelled shirts back from the 70s and stuff when he was growing up in New York City. A talented musician. I believe he played piano and other things and was also a composer. He composed his own theme tune. I'm not familiar with all his musical exploits, but he could sing too. He was definitely a talented musician and a charismatic, artistic kind of guy. Let me just present that screen there. I'm not very good at this kind of thing, but I'm trying my best. Here we go. Share system audio. That's kind of irrelevant, but we will. And it's a Chrome tab. And here it is. Here's my little picky wiki. And this gives you a flavor of our great friend here. So here we go. Meeting Roger Dove there. We've got a picture of him with some people he was in a band with in the 80s. A more contemporary picture of him on the piano as we go left to right. Another picture of him sort of plugging National Fragrance Day. A cute as hell picture of him as a kid. One with the legendary Stephanie. One with the moustache. There he is with Redolessence, and a younger, maybe 1990s or early 2000s Carlos there. He's with a few other of the famous people of Fragcom in a little group picture. You can see Stephen in the pink shirt. We've got Street Sense. We've got Drac Doc. And we've got another picture down there of him in the a long time back. Okay, so yeah, there's some absolutely stunning pictures. Okay, I'll sum up my thing. My experience, and I'm going to bring in the other guests. I'll just keep you waiting a couple of seconds just while I finish off my own little personal memories. His channel was really, really good. I thought he was really unique. He had his own characteristics. He did a load of really amazing collabs. He did get some lovely ladies on the channel, which got him some of his big views. He had the great friendship, which I want to explore and ask about more with Stephen from Redolessence. because they're kind of an odd couple. I wouldn't necessarily put them together, but it became a legendary partnership. And he also we did a load of things where he went out to boutiques and that kind of stuff, and so a very, very knowledgeable guy. He was living in New York. I don't know much about his personal stuff, but I don't think he was rolling in money. But he that didn't stop him buying a huge collection of very expensive niche fragrances. He had 2 cats called Claude and something. I think Stephen will know better details about this. And he was a real character in the Fragcom. A couple of things that I remember: he was very kind to include me. I'd only just emerged as a third-rate YouTuber, which I still am, in 2016, but he invited me to co-host his 2016 collab video, which was a huge honor, and there was no sort of incentive for him to get me on because I was no draw, but he obviously just thought my channel was okay and something new. It was just an act of kindness, and it gave me great publicity. So I sort of introduced the video via sending a clip for the 2016, which, I think it's only yesterday, but it's a long time back now. And, the other little quick thing, I'm going to do a couple of super chats quickly, and then I'll bring in our guests just to finish off my little solo thing, because then it's mainly going to be about you guys. We've got a couple of whoppers here. Super chats. Thank you, community. This is amazing. We're going to get that goal, I think. So we have so far 2 + 5 is $7. Okay, so these are really important because they're all going to a homeless charity in New York City. Talal Perez Gaucher, thank you for a very, very generous $19.99 super chat. Rest in peace, Carlos, from at Better Kal Talal and Goshesh Law Firm. Hey, that is so generous of you. Thank you so much. That puts you at the top of the super chat table for now. So I'm just going to alter that. Thank you so much. That's incredibly generous, and it's a great contribution to our goal for $400. So let me just put that there. We'll put that in honor of your firm there. So I'll put that name. So Gaucher, excuse my pronunciation, Law, excuse me, but this is important because this is really such a good cause. And I'll bring you in 2 seconds there, Stephen. Do forgive me. Here we go. I can't multitask. I need someone to do this for me. Gaucher Law, Gaucher Law Firm. Thank you. That is so kind. And that gives us a great boost in our goal there for 400. Let's save that to the top super chatter thing. Thank you for the generous super chat, Talal Perez Gaucher. I really, really do appreciate that. We've also got one coming in from Lewis Official, Carlos, and a nice sign there. Thank you for the very generous £2 super chat. So we've got 27 plus another 2. Let's call that one because 29. Thank you guys. Keep them coming. Terry Smiles, great part of the community, with a $10 super chat. I truly appreciate that. I wish I could actually find the super chat. Sorry, Terry. We've got one more that I missed. Sorry. Terry Smiles, that takes up to 39. Rest in peace, Carls. You definitely were one of a kind. Thank you. Very generous, Terry Smiles, with a $10 super chat. Niels, £1.79. So we'll call that 2. So we're going to go $41 already. Let's keep them coming, guys. Thank you so much. Really enjoyed his content. Miss him, says Neil, with a £1.79 super chat. Terry Smiles, very generous $10 super chat. Last things for me. Here's other things I remember. As time went on, I did contact him and interact with him a little bit. One thing I very briefly remember before we bring in Redolessence, our star guest tonight, when there were little dramas in the community, this was before I was live streaming and I got in even more dramatic troubles. Whenever there was any troll thing against me, because sometimes I got grief, like if I reviewed, I think there was something like people didn't like me reviewing Dua, and I got some backlash and stuff. He used to come in the comments and post something like, I'm here. And it wasn't, he didn't make any big thing, but it was just enough to say, I saw it and I'm on your side. And I appreciated that because very few people in YouTube will stick their head above the parapet because they all want to stay in their lane, which is good. But it's nice to have solidarity. I really appreciated that. And he did that a couple of times and offered me support. And I also, we'll talk more about the memories, but the last thing is that I did interview him, sadly, just a few days before he died. And that's a very, very tragic, sad memory. And I remember that I did feel that he wasn't quite his usual self. And that always kind of sticks with me as a painful thing, because then a couple of days later, I found that he'd passed. So I did feel a slight personal connection, despite not having met him in person. Redolessence, that is so incredibly generous. You did not have to do that. That is a $50 super chat from Stephen, who are now going to bring in Redolessence. $50 brings us up to a $91 total. Goal 400. Let's smash it. Let's get 1,000. Thank you, Stephen. I really, really appreciate that. That does put you on top of the leaderboard there. These super chats are very, very generous indeed. Thank you, guys. Keep them coming. I'm just going to alter that thing, and then we're going to bring in Stephen. I'm sure you'd rather hear what he has to say than me. So let's get going, guys. And we've got Cuba No, who I'm going to bring in a little bit later as well. So here we go. In honor of all, let me just find that and quickly change that, guys. Thank you so much for the support. Keep these super chats coming. Here it is. Okay, sorry, guys. Redolessence, fantastic $50 super chat. Really appreciate that. Let's bring him in. $50. There we go, guys. Amazing. We've got 91. Okie dokie. So Cuba, no, I think I hope you got the message clear, but I'm going to do Stephen first and then bring you in if that's okay. So I don't know if you're there because your screen's not, I think he's just kind of logging in backstage. Okay. But I think he knows the time to come on. Let's bring in the man of the hour. It is the fantastic Stephen from Redo. Let me just remove that. Redolessence. Hello.
Hey, how you doing, Dan?
Stephen, hello. Wonderful to see you. Thank you for the generous super chat. You've already given us enough by your time. You didn't have to do that, but thank you.
No, of course.
To see you. And first time I've ever had you on a live stream. We have met in person though, back in very early 2022. How are you? 2020, sorry, just before the pandemic, in fact. Stephen, how are you?
That's right. No, I'm doing pretty good. Thank you so much for having me on. I have been watching silently this whole time, and I think you're doing something quite amazing. Coalition for the Homeless, and I know that that's a cause that he would have backed up 100%. So I really appreciate your generosity and always being there. And obviously, you've welcomed me to be on the live quite a while ago, and I wasn't able to because of personal things that have gotten in the way. So I'm glad that I finally have the opportunity. So thank you for extending the offer.
It's a real honor that you're here. Really, really, really appreciate it. It's going to be, listen, as I've said to people, we're not going to, it's not a funeral and it's not even a requiem. It's sort of a celebration. I think of course, it's still painful, probably more so for you than anyone. But enough time has passed that now we can perhaps focus a little bit on the positives and the amazing legacy. So that's the focus here. So happy to have you here and thank you for joining us. But I'll do a little bit of small talk first. Okay. You're looking great, by the way. Very svelte at the moment. You're looking incredibly slim. Have you been working out and dieting?
Thank you. I have been dieting. Yeah. I guess I came back from Europe over the summer, and I was just really, really disappointed. I had let myself go, and I started monitoring my caloric intake and eating one meal a day, doing the whole intermittent fasting thing. So I'm actually down 53 pounds.
Holy wow,
Yeah.
That's huge.
I still have about another 10, 20 pounds to go, but I'll be satisfied very soon, I think.
Well, be careful, because this can get, you can get carried away. You look absolutely already, in your ideal zone. But great to see you looking very, very healthy and handsome as ever with your fantastic collection behind you. Guys, all super chats tonight going to a homeless charity in the USA. So Carlos was a great character. Always enjoyed his videos. Not in the know with a generous €5 super chat. So that takes us to $96 in our goal for $400. I bet we can smash that tonight. Thank you, Not in the Know. Really, really appreciate that generous super chat. Keep those bad boys coming. Okay, so Stephen, just very quickly then to catch up on you, how is things going with your channel and life in general over there in NYC?
Everything is going pretty good. I have my health, I have my family. I really can't complain.
Sorry, you're near NYC, aren't you? Not in it.
Near NYC, yes, that's right. I'm in New Jersey, so I'm about 20 minutes away from New York City. I could always hop on a train and I'll end up there in about a half hour. But I'm doing pretty good, man. I have my family and I'm enjoying life and just taking it one day at a time, kind of like you said, not really expecting anything grand, but, just being happy for, being in the moment and everything that I do have coming my way. So very grateful.
That's absolutely fantastic. Well, okay, let's turn to our subject matter then. I think, as I say, this is not going to be a sort of maudlin evening at all. We're still going to have our usual fun and games. And with Carlos, he was someone I could say looked a lot of fun. Anush Patel with a very, very generous $27.99 super chat. That is very
Thank you.
kind. Still no idea about who Brooklyn Fragrance Lover is, but RIP to the gentleman and blessings to his friends and family. Well, this is a great point, because of course people come and go in the community, and if you've arrived after his time, that there's no harm in telling us that. And this is our chance to share a little bit about what a great guy he was. So thank you for that very generous. I think we'll call that I'm calling that $20 roughly UK. USA. I will get this exact figure. You can actually find that online. 96 plus 20. Help me. You're a teacher, Stephen. 116, right? I'm doing this all
That's
in my
right.
head. Thanks, man.
Well, I'm an English teacher, so you can't rely on me for too much math stuff.
Yeah. Sometimes, the English teachers aren't good at maths, and the maths teachers' grammar is often lacking too. Thank you for the generous super chat. Look, I know these interruptions can be a little bit irritating, but because it's such a good cause, I think I will unashamedly go right and keep them coming, guys. 116 so far. We're going to 400 as our goal. We've got another really nice one, super sticker of €10. Thank you for the super sticker, €10. We'll call that $12 roughly, give or take. So that's $128, and we have a goal of 400. We're going to smash it. I think we're going to get a world record tonight. Thank you for the very, 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 very generous super chat. 365 days perfume. Okay, Stephen, let's get into our topic then. So 2 years ago, give or take, it was at the beginning. I think it was just over 2 years ago now. Literally speaking, of course, we lost Carlos. Let's not focus on the negatives first. So everybody most people are aware that this happened. Let me talk about a few things that I want to get into with you. So you and Carlos were very, very good friends. You did a lot of collaboration videos, and I think it's certainly fair to say you were his closest Fragcom friend and collaborator. And also, amongst all of Fragcom, two of the people with the closest sort of collaboration and long-term relationship, I think it's fair to say. So, an obvious first question, how did you first meet Carlos and get in, or even become acquainted with him online and then meet him? And how did you come to actually collaborate with him and become friends?
That's a really good question. I don't think I'm entirely sure. I don't remember if it was like a Facebook message that came first, or we actually met in person. But I do remember the first time I met him in person, and I think it was back in 2012 or 2013 or something like that. And I think I ended up being a really close friend of his, one, because of the proximity. He lived in Brooklyn and I live in New Jersey. I think it kind of started one day. There was an event at Ming, New York. And, that's something that he and I would do quite often. We'd go to Perfumery and Ming, New York, and a lot of these boutiques in the city, where it was pretty much the only time or the only place where you could sample niche fragrances. And I think there was a Juliet Mad event. And, they were promoting a new release, I think, and they were kind of showcasing the brand. And I remember heading in, and he looked familiar because he had a pretty strong
Stephen,
social
can I
media
very,
presence.
very rudely interrupt you just to say Cuba
Please,
with a
not rude at all.
$49. This is the only thing that I'll interrupt for. Super chat,
course.
$49.99. Thank you so much. That takes us up to $178. These all go to
Thank
a
you,
great
Angel.
charity, and it's in honor of Carlos because it's a New York-based homeless charity. Very, very, very generous super chat or super sticker from the generous man who's going to be joining us soon. Likewise, another great one. I will interrupt you for the super chats, and I'm very sorry, but you
Please,
do
anytime.
understand. You do understand why. The Burrow Nerdy Fragrance Reviews. Hillary, thank you so much. That takes us up to 188. Goal of 400. We're going to smash it. Thank you. Carlos was so good at putting a smile on your face. All right, it's a $9.99 super chat. Thank you. I remember when he called me up because of an acoustic version of the song WAP I had made. He was colorful, engaging, and a force to be reckoned with. Thank you. That's a beautiful memory. That's what I want, whether it's a super chat or just a comment. These memories mean the world to everybody out there. And if he's watching down, looking down on us, he'll really appreciate that beautiful thought. Thank you, Hillary the Burrow. Thank you. So, yes, you recognized him. So you guys both had your channels up and running, but you'd not met. Please proceed. And forgive my interruption.
Please interrupt me whenever you want. Of course,
right.
It's your channel, and I appreciate you having me on. No, he was. I think he had a very strong social media presence. Although I think he started his YouTube channel a year after I did, probably circa 2013 or something like that. But the iconic facial hair and the hat, and he had a signature look to him, if you will. So I remember seeing him, and he came up to me, and it was really interesting. This is one thing that he always said. And he would remind me of it from time to time. And he's like, do you remember the compliment that I paid you? And I said, no, it's been such a long time ago. I really don't. he goes, well, I don't know if you remember, but I remember going up to you and saying, hey, nice to meet you. You're very handsome. And I don't really remember him saying that. I guess, just being in the moment and surrounded by so many fragrance lovers. And at the time I was very early on in my YouTube career, as it were. But that was kind of a fun moment that he and I had. And we started collaborating very, very quickly from there on. I know Cuba, I think I might have, or was that a residual?
Yeah, I'm just leaving them up a little bit
Oh,
longer
okay.
so people can see them. Yeah. Thanks for the thought, Stephen. Sorry.
Of
Yeah, I was
course,
just
of
thumbs
course.
upping someone. If I can't read all the comments, but sometimes if I put your comment on the screen like that, Miss Carlos videos, Melissa, thank you. But I
Thank
want to
you.
keep
Thank you,
things flowing.
Melissa.
Thank you so much. Yeah, I'm very intrigued. Okay, so he knew of your channel too, and he said you were handsome. Keep going. Sorry, Stephen.
Yeah, and we just I live in New Jersey. He lived in Brooklyn in Sheepshead Bay. So I think one day he kind of reached out to me online and he was like, would you like to meet up in person, shoot some videos together? I guess he liked my style and I liked how, very quirky and kind of haphazard he was and very lighthearted. And, he spoke to the layman, which I think is something that really worked for him in his channel. So he came over to New Jersey, and it was, I think, a summer day because we had fired up the grill. And he goes, all right, what should we review? We were like totally unprepared. And I said, I have a few things at home and, maybe I'll pull them out and, we'll sort of decide from there. And I think the first video that he and I had done together, it was either Black Orchid or a Lamani fragrance, Lamani Intense Black, which is their version of Creed's Royal Oud. And I remember like showing it to him and I was like, hey, do you want to review this one? I mean, it's one that I haven't reviewed. I had it in my possession for some time. And he goes, yeah, I like Royal Oud. That sounds pretty good. So we had a very impromptu setup and, it wasn't perfect at all. And the camera quality was really crappy. But he was kind of impulsive in that way. And I love that. He was like, yeah, we'll do it. We'll make it work. I mean, he was the type of person where, if he found somebody that he thought was a good candidate, like in the middle of the street, doesn't matter. It could be 12 o'clock midnight, no lighting at all, but he would shoot a video with them. He just kind of loved bringing people onto his channel and sharing the passion. And then it went from us meeting up once every few months to meeting up like twice a week at some, points. And,
Wow.
I think during the height of the pandemic in 2020, he would sleep over my house for like 2 or 3 days at a time. And it was interesting because, well, not maybe in the heart of the pandemic, but maybe a few months into it. And, when people started to feel a little bit more lax about it, for lack of a better word. But yeah, he would come over quite often. And, I would say to him, does Jean and Claude have enough food? And he's like, yeah, they're good. It should last them at least 2 days. And, he wasn't working at the time. They had laid off a lot of people. And, he was collecting unemployment and he had decided he didn't want to go back to that job. And, he was also afraid, like most people, he didn't want to get sick and he knew he had a lot of health issues, especially towards the end. And, he was hospitalized that October. And so he was kind of, afraid. But
I remember that. And I don't think it's too bad if we just, although it wasn't part of this particular question, if we just touch on that briefly, because I remember he spoke to me, because I'm not saying I was his best buddy, but we did exchange messages occasionally. I really liked him. Again, opposites attract. We're pretty different, but yeah. But I did ask how he was doing, and he said he was okay. But yeah, he had a big scare in the autumn before, and we were all a bit worried about him. He was in hospital and everything, wasn't he? So I guess we kind of thought he was on the road to becoming a lot better, maybe if we just watched his output on YouTube and Facebook. But unfortunately, it seems that that wasn't the case. So we without wanting to, because I'm not going to dwell on that side of things, but was it something a little bit linked to what he was in hospital for that may have been what caused his sad demise, do you think? Or
I think so. I think when he went to the hospital, he had type 2 diabetes, which he always knew he was pre-diabetic. And, he was monitoring it and checking his sugar and everything. And, when you went to the hospital, they were like, dude, you need insulin. So they gave him
Yeah.
insulin, and he didn't like that because this whole time he had been doing it without the insulin. And he knew that once he started, it was going to be very hard for him to go back. And so he was
Yeah.
really upset about that. And, obviously he loved cooking. So he loved eating all different types of food and cuisine. And, he realized, and I think if you watch the video, you'll see he mentions all this in the video. He's like, I got to get my act together if,
Yeah.
I want to live a bit longer. But, he had a passion for life. He has a zest and enthusiasm for life. And, I always say to people, it's great that he has, and you've been showing clips from his channel earlier on in this live, which I think is amazing, but I'm glad that he had this channel. So he sort of immortalized himself,
That's it, isn't it? That's the beauty of YouTube. Although it's, we often are cynical about it, it does give him this this longevity, which is beautiful, and I think that's really nice. So yeah, all right. Let me just do a quick super chat. Thank you, Callie's Groom Room. I think he's going to hop on a bit later on, actually, when
Thank
we
you,
open
Dave.
it up a bit more. Thank you, Dave. Great guy in the community. It's $198 so far. Goal of 400. Let's smash it. Hey, no reason we can't get 1,000. Callie's Groom Room, $9.99. Carlos is one of a kind, gone but never forgotten. 100%, and that's why we're here tonight, to show that he's not forgotten. All right, yeah. So we're going to go back. Okay, so you guys developed this fantastic friendship. I know you because you obviously met your wife, and you've got a daughter.
Yeah.
Yes, and all that kind of stuff. He was real close knit part of almost of your family, which was absolutely so wonderful. So yeah, just a bit more about that then for you, because I was my next sort of bullet point here is what the friendship and that partnership meant to you, because you both had independently very successful channels. But almost when you came together, it was a certain different kind of special chemistry. How important was that to you in your channel? And also, just as a man and a friend, with a very different life. You were married and starting a new young family. He was very much a bachelor type with Claude and Jean and Claude, of course. Is that Jean-Claude Van Damme? Very different. No, Jean-Claude Eleanor.
Eleanor, yeah. Which is kind of funny and ironic in a sense, because the perfumer that we ended up working with is Jean-Claude Delville. But he named his cats after Jean-Claude Eleanor. And then when we started working with Jean-Claude Delville, he's like, okay, as far as you're concerned, they're named after you. So it was kind of a funny little occasion there. But no, the friendship really, it meant everything to me. Like, I feel like he was the one person in the community where we could really bounce ideas off one another and be very honest and transparent with one another. And, it was a friendship that I think transcended the whole fragrance thing. Initially it was all about fragrance and what should we review, and it was very business-like. And then it was just like he would show up and we would say, okay, we're going to work. And then it'd be like 8, 9 p.m. And he's like, okay, we shot no videos. Today could just be a chill day. And he would spend the night, he would sleep on my couch. And, there were days when he would come over where we said, you know what, it's okay. Today we're just hanging out. There's no videos, there's no business. So it was really nice being able to strike that balance, especially towards the end. And, we did everything. We went to California together. We, would go to the zoo together with my daughter.
This friendship wasn't just about doing videos together. This was a true friendship, real world. Like even if you met up and you meant to do a video and you didn't even get around to the video, it was beyond a YouTube collaboration. That's what I'm getting at, right?
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, initially it was about the fragrances. And then after a while, it kind of turned into this, well, let's just party. Let's just hang out, or, let's go to a nice restaurant and have a nice meal. We used to go to the beach like once a week in the summer. He'd come to Jersey. We'd pick him up at the train station. We'd drive down the shore, and it was just nice, just having a friend in the community, somebody who kind of knew everything. And, I could confide in him. He could confide in me. We were each other's confidants. So it was a really nice relationship.
Yeah, we definitely got that impression. Okay, another super chat coming in. By the way, if you leave stupid super chats, we will take the money, and it's non-refundable, but they won't be read out. We can all see the person who did that. You won't ever be commenting again. I'll leave it there for a minute because we all know a bit about you in the community. You won't ever comment here again. Al Manzano with a $25 super chat. I spoke with Carlos 2 weeks prior to his passing, still grieving the loss. Thank you, Al. That's so generous. $225 super so far. Thank you, Al Manzano. Great
Thank
guy
you.
who loves his vintage. Al, you're a great guy. Yeah, he was it's like that for many of us, even if we only interacted with him sporadically. It really hit us. So I can't imagine what people like Stephen went through. Thank you, Al Manzano. $25 super chat. And he's a great part of the community too. Thank you, Al. Very, very generous. $225 so far. And yeah, guys, keep these super chats coming. But yeah, if you make silly ones, then the money's gone. It's not refundable. Okay, so guys, let us know if you've got questions for Stephen down there. Super chats would be a great way to do it, or otherwise. But yeah, okay, so we know that this was a great friendship. I wanted to ask you then, if you may not have prepared any specific, I'm sure there are tons because he was funny. We're going to ask you now about anecdotes, fondest memories, and maybe some of the best qualities of Carlos. I would just want to say in relation to that, I remember when I was way back when I was still together with Claire Smurfy Girlie from the Smurfy Girlie. We were talking on like a Facebook Live. We didn't even have YouTube Lives back then. And we were talking like, who's the person in Fragcom, or who are the people you'd most like to meet for a drink? And he was like more or less the first person that we both said that would be like the most fun, charismatic, intriguing person that we had both. And, you know, such a tragedy, because I'm sure somehow we would have done by now or soon had this thing not happened. So that, you know, he was somebody that I actually found very, very charismatic and intriguing. So thank you, Al Manzano, with the amazing super chat. Ricky Tomatoes, Canadian $10 super chat. Big RIPs to Carlos, aka BFL, our AK Amber, absolutely amazing YouTuber. 235 so far. Great super chat. Thank you, Ricky Tomatoes. I really do appreciate that support. We're going for a goal of 400 for homeless people in New York City. The charity is called Coalition Homeless
for the Homeless.
Coalition for the Homeless. Okay, it is just they give food to the homeless and they do other things to help them out. I don't think it's. I was trying to find one that's not weird or political or polarizing, and I think they fit the bill. 2, 3, 5 guys. Let's keep them coming. So yeah, I was just going to ask you anecdotes or fondest memories of Carlos. I'm sure you have dozens.
Yeah, no, I certainly have a bunch, and you know, I don't really know where to start. You know, everything from going to the beach where, you know, he would say, you know, I have diabetes, you know, I can't walk on the rocks. So we would stay all the way in the back by the sand. And, you know, some days he'd be afraid to go in the water. He would say, you know, if I get a cut on my foot, it's not going to heal properly. There was one time we went to the zoo, and there was a police officer working there. He actually recognized both of us. And he approached both of us and he goes, oh my God, I watch you guys all the time. Can I take a picture with you? And we'd be in the car driving home and he would talk about it for like hours and hours and hours. But, you know, he always had a sprightly sort of demeanor about him, you know.
Sorry
even,
there, I thought you were full screen. I just had to deal with something backstage. Forgive me. My editorial skills are not the best, Stephen. Carry on. Sorry.
No, you're great, man. You're great. Okay. Absolutely. Even just the events that we would go to, and, you know, sometimes, you know, he would teach me a lot of things. You know, we'd be at these events and he would point to somebody across the room and he'd say, you know who that is, right? You know who this is, right? And, you know, I guess he had a Facebook group called Peace, Love, Perfume. And he met a lot of people in the industry through that. So it was really interesting being able to attend these events with him. And he kind of knew everybody and everybody kind of knew him, which was really cool. But it's so hard to try to dial it back to what is one memory or one thing that he and I did that I think is really memorable or meaningful. It's just, you know, now kind of in hindsight, and when I retrospect on it, I kind of love every moment that I had with him, you know. And there are times when, like you said, opposites attract, and, you know, we didn't always get along, or we might have had a difference in terms of what content we were going to shoot or an idea for a video or something like that. Some of the moments that I really appreciate were, you know, he gave me control of what went on his channel from time to time. So what I mean by that is he would come over my house and we would shoot a video together, and I would log into his, you know, his YouTube account, and he'd be like, okay, you know, why don't you edit the video for me, upload it, title it, do what you want to do. And we would have like these random little games of not niche or designer, but, you know, like random weird topics.
Yeah,
and
I remember the niche designer was one of the popular things.
Yes.
Yeah.
He loved doing that. Cuba came over. I know he's one of the guests here. He came
Yep.
over my house one time, and we played that game where I was kind of the mediator. So that was a lot of fun. You know, it was really nice to you know, we had a debate one time because I think one of us had smelled Comme des Garçons, and we made the mistake of thinking it's niche when it's obviously a designer. So I remember we like bickered about it behind the scenes, and oh, I should have won that game. No, I should have won that game. So it was kind of thinking about these little moments where, you know,
Yeah.
now they're all kind of coming to mind, but you know, in the moment, you don't think much about them, right? You're just kind of enjoying your time, and
Yeah.
but there was a lot. There was a lot.
He was there's probably we could do a 3-hour show just on those. So,
Absolutely.
we got a super chat. Thank you, Dwayne, for the $2 super chat. We probably won't spend long, but if Stephen wants
Thank
to
you,
comment,
Dwayne.
he can briefly. Stephen, thoughts on Scent Explores #Samplegate? Do you have any thoughts on that, Stephen? Thank you, Dwayne, for the super chat. It's all to a good cause. Thank you.
I've received a few emails on that. Is that in reference to some people saying that they didn't get samples when they were promised?
I think that's what happened. Yeah, yeah.
I don't know much about that. This year, I didn't speak on a panel. I didn't have a musical contribution. I didn't help set up the event or anything like that. I'm not too familiar with it. I haven't really spoken to Max since November or December of last year. I don't really know too much about it, and I do apologize. You know, I'm not trying to plead ignorance, but I had very minimal involvement in the whole setup, and I was basically just there to enjoy myself. And believe it or not, you know, despite the whole name of the event, Scent Explorer, I don't think I smelled a single fragrance when I went to Scent Explorer last year, because it was more just about connecting with people.
I'm
and
like
I shot a few
yeah,
videos.
yeah. I get that. I do get
Right?
that. Yeah. Perhaps for you, because you've got everything you need to smell probably at home. We're going to bring in Cuba Noah's backstage, another amazing guest. That makes hey, that's a very good, that's a very straight answer to a straight question. Thank you so much. Quick super chat. So we're going to bring in the amazing man that is Cuba. No, I'm so honored with these two first-time guests. What a night for me. Joe P with a $20. Thank you to Carlos. You brought me the best guests. Joe P, $20 super chat. RIP Carlos, miss you in your videos. Yeah, please share those nice messages. If he's watching up there, that will be appreciated. 257 we've got in our goal, $400. Let's do it, guys. We're well on the way. Thank you, Joe P. That's very generous. Carlos would approve. And we've got one more quick super chat before we bring in the legend that is Cubano. Captain Nakomato with a $10 super chat. BFL's fragrance reviews greatly impacted my scent journey. Even now, I continue to relish his videos and their enduring influence. Lovely, beautiful tribute. I love that. That's what I want from people. And if I see others that are not super chats, I'll try and do those too. But the super chats is a great way to do it. Thank you. We're on 267, goal of $400. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Also, Augeneer Bops, his videos with Tiff were great. Yeah, he was great at collabing with the right people. Here we go. So let's move on down the chat. And we're going to bring in our second star-studded guest here. And this is the amazing Cuba. No.
Yo.
Hello.
Cuba. Yo, what's going on, Steve? Damn, how are you, brother?
What's up, man? Nice to hear from you again.
Nice to see. Nice to be seen. How you guys doing?
Great. It's so
Very
nice.
good.
My first time ever speaking to you on camera. Amazing to have you here. Of course, people will be well familiar with both channels, Redolessence and the Cubano, legends of our communities. Hashtag ball sprayers, says somebody. Exactly. Indeed, indeed, indeed. Cuba, it is great to have you. It is great to have you here. How are you doing tonight? How's it going?
I'm all right. I'm all right. Coming down with a little bit of a cold, but you know, I got the whiskey to make me feel a little bit better.
Good man. Vitamin C and/or whiskey is the doctor's recommended cure. Now, I'm just going to go. Regular viewers will know 1 hour in at my age, it's my first bathroom trip, so I'm going to go to the bathroom quickly. Meanwhile, if you guys can just do a little bit of small talk and share your scent of the night, both of you, that would be an ideal way to fill and help old Mr. Smelly out. So I'll put you guys full screen. Redolessence, you're in charge. I'll be right back. Scent of the night from you guys, and then I'll tell you mine. Go.
Steven, how are you, buddy?
Dude, I'm doing great, man. It's been such a long time. And, you know, despite the fact that we live kind of close to one another, we don't see each other as often as we should, man. I miss you.
I miss you too, brother. It was good seeing you for a quick second at Scent Explorer. That was pretty cool.
Very, very quick second, right?
Yeah.
I remember looking in your direction. I was standing on the stairs, and you had a crowd of people around you. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to leave him alone. I'll see him later.
The guys were entertaining. The kids, the kids with me were just acting a ruckus. So I let them roam free.
That's
What are you,
awesome,
what are
man.
you wearing this evening, Steven? I mean, I know you have a small collection of fragrances, so you know.
Yeah, well, yeah, tiny. I have a couple.
Yeah.
No, believe it or not, I was kind of in a rush this morning, and today we had picture day with all the seniors, so I'm wearing my class of 2023 shirt.
All right.
So I said, you know what? Since I'm not really gonna be in a suit and tie today, let me wear something a little bit more on the casual side of things. Might get some flack for it, but I actually wore 1 million, the original.
Did you?
Yeah, it's been a long time since I've worn it. And I said, you know what? Let me see how this is holding up. It actually did pretty good today. The cinnamon, the sweetness. What
Yeah.
about you? What did you wear?
Testing out Savoir Faire's new fragrance, Evanescence. Very
Oh,
sweet, very low key, gingery, spicy, light, very casual jean and t-shirt type vibe. Very dope though. Very nice. But I was recording videos today, so essentially that's my scent of the day. But I'm wearing like 13 things. Like
of course.
I'm like, this is probably adding to my allergies at this point,
It's like 5 fragrances on each arm, right?
bro. It's ridiculous. It's crazy,
Of
but it's
course.
fun. It's just that's the hobby we're into, right?
Absolutely. Dan, what is your scent of the day? I don't
Thank
think
you
I
for
caught it.
asking. Thank you. That's kind of you. Well, in honor of Carlos, because I know, and I asked people maybe to grab their favorite Tom Ford. I know he was a huge fan of the Tom Ford, particularly the private blends. You know what? That's a house I don't have. It's one of my houses. I have a little bit of a lack of them, but I'm lucky enough to have the discontinued Italian Cypress, which is just such
Very
a
nice.
beauty. Very much me, the old-fashioned green smelling. But you know what? It's amazing. It's one of the early ones that they brought out. I'm applying it now. So rich, so kind of complex, masculine, old school. Tom Ford was quite adept at recreating old styles. He did that, didn't he? Of course, for Gucci, for YSL, numerous times, and he did it even with his own private blends. And this is an example of that. Pays homage maybe to things like Houston Z14, I think it is. I get muddled up. Anyway, It is really, really beautiful. I'm so lucky to have it. So, and in honor of Carlos, that's my scent of the night. And so nice to have you two guys together. So you two guys have interacted and met each again. I wouldn't put you guys together necessarily, obviously, stylishly, but you guys know each other a little bit, right?
Yeah. Through BFL, through Carlito.
Yeah.
We did the collaborations, and I think it was the second Is a Niche Designer was at your house, right?
That's
The
right.
drink.
That's right. Yeah.
That was the second one. Yeah, those games were fun, man. It was cool that you did this, Dan, because it was a tough situation like to go through. You know what I mean? And Steven obviously would know better than anybody, but
That's
he
it.
behind the scenes, man. The guy's heart was gold.
Absolutely. And that's it. And I want to get your recollections too there, Cuba, now. So yeah, I absolutely can echo that. And I tell you what, because we were just leaning that way a little bit with Stephen, that sometimes he didn't always get on and stuff. And he was a spicy character, let's be honest, and that's why I liked him. Like he wasn't a shrinking violet, and a lot of YouTubers can be very, very safe and they stay in their own lane. But this guy had a little bit of character. People, and I don't mean this with any disrespect. People called him kind of a diva and stuff, and I kind of liked that about him. He could be a little bit spicy in his hot takes, couldn't he, there, guys? But I think that's kind of, he was real, wasn't he? He wasn't bland. He wasn't a safe influencer. That's kind of why I liked him, I think.
I think personally, from my experience with him, I wish he would have been. I think he played some roles safe because he was trying to be very professional.
Yeah,
and that was his lane. I mean, he was like, the reason we got along real cool was because he used to shit on me after hours by texting me in the middle of the night. Like if I shitted on a fragrance, he sent me a message. He's like, "Are you stupid?" He goes, "That fragrance is amazing. What are you talking about?" Like he would just go off on me, go insane. And then 2 minutes later, he goes, "I love you, right?" I'm like, "Yeah, dude, I know. Relax. I'm not that sensitive. Chill."
yeah.
Please. Like, I shitted on Black Orchid and he went crazy. He went insane on me. And I think that was one of the first interactions.
That's what I like about him. He had character. Okay, Cuba, let's get some thoughts on you. So how did you first become aware of Carlos' channel, and at what point did you first get the chance to actually interact with him and maybe even meet him then, Cubano?
I don't remember when I first saw his channel. I think before anything, somehow maybe on the YouTube algorithm, the channel popped up, and then the intro song. I mean, the dude's song was legendary. That was it was just perfect. So I was like, "Who is this dude in Brooklyn?" I was like, "All right." So I watched this channel, and I was like, I like this vibe. I could tell it's a Latino dude, kind of sassy, had a little bit of a spice to him. He knew what he was talking about. I was like, all right. And he ended up reaching out to me. I think it was for some collaborative video, early, really early. And he's like, yo, would you be willing to jump on or whatever? And I'm like, okay. I don't know what this is, super new to this thing. And he's like, yeah, just, give me your idea for, I don't know if it was a holiday video or something like that. And he gave that opportunity, which was super cool. And after that, I mean, we just kept in touch. We exchanged numbers. He would send me recommendations or whatever. And then, more time down the line is when the whole is it niche or designer drinking game, because we were both like whiskey and ginger ale guys. Like that's my constant, and that was like his thing. So he's like, oh, would you be willing to come over and we can do it on my channel? Is it niche or designer drinking whiskey? I go, absolutely. And then that's kind of where it all started off, because that channel, that video was like so fun. It was so fun. It was just, I wish he would have put like bloopers in there, because the bloopers are insane.
Yeah, his bloopers were quite funny. Yeah,
His
when he
bloopers
did
are-
put them in. I tell you what, at that point, then, whether we've got a drink or not, but let's just pause to raise a glass, or a metaphorical one. I'm sure Carlos would approve if he's watching up there. Let's, everyone in the chat, let's raise a glass to Carlos, who did bring so much fun
Absolutely.
to the world of YouTube.
Absolutely.
Salute, Carlos. Okay, yeah, brilliant stuff. Cuba, yeah, it's so great to have you here with Redolessence. I'm very honored to have you two gentlemen. Let's press on a little bit with some happy memories of the Carlos days. So you guys met up with him, I think, at some of the events. Like, were you guys both at that first Scent Explore 2019 and some of these? Because there's a lot of pictures online of he dressed kind of more street on a lot of his videos, but he really scrubbed up rather well, didn't he, for these ceremonies? And just tell us about a couple of those, because I know he was up for an award, wasn't he, once, Stephen? Where Jeremy pipped him to it or something. He was nominated, I think. That was in that New York Times thing. But I think one of the big times that a lot of you guys all coalesced there was the first Scent Explore 2019. Is that right?
He would talk a lot about Scent Explore 2019. And I think a lot of so just to backtrack a little bit, we had an event in 2017 called Sense. And it was me, him, Max Forti, and Tiff Benson. And we all came together. There was a distributor that said, hey, we have a venue. We could host an event, and, you guys can invite as many people as you'd like, as long as, it's within fire code or whatever. And we had about 70 or 80 people in attendance with minimal promotion. And he was like, oh my God, this was so much fun. We have to do something else like this. We never actively pursued it, but Max did. And Max had Scent Explore, and, he was telling us all about it. And, it's going to be in New York City, and there's going to be so many people there and so many vendors, and these are the brands, and so on and so forth. So I know Carlos and I were really, really excited for it. And, a lot of times he would, feel down in the dumps, if you will, because, he might get a negative comment or two. Even though 98% of the comments were positive, he would always focus on the one or two negative ones. But when we went to Scent Explorer, I just remember him for the next week talking about how, wow, it was all love. It was all love. Everybody he met at that event, just the interactions, the photographs, the collaborations. I remember in the day or two before Scent Explorer, he had all these people at his house. I was there, and Andrea was there from, Curly Scents, and Demi Rawling went to his apartment as well. And so he had all these people who came to his apartment, and he's like, wow, they actually took their time to collaborate with me. And I know
I remember
really
that. Yeah, all the big names came, didn't they? Yeah, I remember that.
They did. Yeah, that was the big one, right? Jeremy was there, and Demi Rawling, and all the really, really big names.
But they not only were
really
they at the event, they came. A lot of them came to his apartment and did a video with him.
They did. Yeah, actually, Jeremy met up with him a couple of times outside of that one event. Yeah.
Yeah, quick super chat there. Thank you so much, Fernando Soto. Remember, all these go
Thank
to
you.
the New York City Homeless Charity Coalition for the Homeless, and that is a Mexican 250 peso super chat from our friend, a great regular in all the stream chats, Fernando Soto. I love this message. I think let's have a look. R.I.P.
Thank you,
Carlos
Fernando.
Powell, AKBFL. Thank you. I remember he used to go live from time to time to share part of his life, present, and past with the audience. Great fragrance reviewer and person. We still remember you, Carlos. $13 US. That takes us up to $280 US. Thank you very, very kindly. And you even translated the currency, so I don't have to work it out. Thank you. We've got a goal of 400, but let's double it. Who cares? Let's keep them coming, guys. Thank you. Great point there, though. What was it? Yeah. Well, first of all, it is overwhelmingly positive, and there's always the negative comments. And oh damn, no, there was something else that sprang into my mind. It's gone. Keep going though. Yeah. So that event was kind of that really warmed his heart, didn't it? Yeah.
No, he truly loved it, and of course, he loved all of the events. Right? We would have events at the Morley Boutique, or we had an event at another kind of a local boutique. Actually, Ada's de Venustas. When they were at their old location, we did an event there. And even if it wasn't his event per se, right, just being around other fragrance lovers really inspired him. And, just putting himself in that vibe, that ambiance of trying new fragrances and meeting new people and looking for collaboration opportunities as well. But there was kind of a core group that I would say he would gravitate towards. And obviously, Cuba was one of them, and, he loved you. And I know somebody in the chat mentioned Fragmental. Chris, he loved Chris as well.
I think Chris is going to hop on about midnight if we're lucky. So, yeah.
Oh, man.
Yeah, I tell you what, and I know, there's a lot of cynicism in the community and towards YouTubers, especially ones like him with a decent sized channel. I can honestly say he genuinely was a really nice, he was a kind person. And the things that sort of showed that to me was, there was no big incentive, it wasn't a cynical ploy by him when he invited me to host his Christmas 2016 thing, because I was a nobody, he only did that out of the goodness of his heart, and the little things where he gave me a little nudge of support if I was getting trolled or something. No need for him to do that. Didn't matter, but he did it. So and I'm a pretty cynical person. So I don't necessarily think people are doing stuff out of the niceness of their heart. But when they are, I can kind of tell, and that's I definitely think that was the case with Carlos, which is that's why I actually really, really miss it. It is such of all. I mean, no one wants to lose anybody, but of all the people that would disappear from our community, for him to go. Just such a bitter blow. But there we go, guys. Okay, let's move on. One thing I wanted to touch on with both you guys, and it ties in because, like myself and Cuba, he wasn't shy of a couple of drinks and putting that on camera, which I think is nice. It's great if people are very professional and safe. But he had these great ones where he did the collabs with the ladies. He got, let's be honest, he had some rather glamorous young ladies from his shoe shop. Many of us fondly remember Stephanie, and a few others. But damn it, he must have had some some serious skills to get these ladies to come back and agree to do these videos, and that they were huge for his channel. They really kind of exploded him to a new level. So, Stephen, did he ever talk about that with you? And what's your sort of take on that? I've got to be honest, I was a bit jealous. I was like, how does he do this?
I'm still jealous. Yeah. I think he kind of eased them into it. A lot of these people were, co-workers of his that worked at Lester's in New York, which I think they closed down now, if I'm being honest. But he would meet these young ladies, and it would start off by them complimenting him. Like, oh, you smell good. And then, obviously he would tell them, oh, I have the YouTube channel and everything. And he would casually invite them. And most of them were like, yeah, I would love to be on the channel. So it was really nice how he fostered that relationship and kind of introduced people to the world of fragrance. But, a lot of these girls were like genuinely interested in trying different fragrances. And it's not too far from where he worked. So if it meant hopping on the train for 5 or 10 minutes and then boom, there you are. So it was really nice. Yeah, I have to admit, I can't say it too loud because my wife is upstairs, but a lot of them were quite attractive, I do admit.
Yeah, no, he had great. He had the skills. I can tell you that. No, they were absolutely they were brilliant, those videos, and they
Yeah.
garnered him tons of views, well deserved as well. I really and thinking about that because of the sort of camaraderie he had and the ability to be gregarious and affable. So sad for me because I'm into doing the live streams. I'm sure he would have been either an amazing guest or most likely a fantastic host of regular live streams. Now that they've become a little bit more of a thing for some of us, but I would have hoped he would be one of the absolute stars doing that. We've got a super chat coming in. Keep them coming, guys. We're on the way to a goal of $400 for homeless people in New York City. Ali with a $9.99 super chat. Hello, she is the partner of DDLD, great guest of ours many times on the show. Joe and I are in the car listening. Carlos sounds like he was a very genuine person. He was indeed. Thank you so much. That takes us to $290. Let's get that 400 and smash through it. Thank you, Ali. Really, really appreciate that. Keep them coming, guys. Here we go. Stop it, Sandico. You can't say that. Okay, let's move swiftly on. Guys, no, amazing guest. Okay, so at Cuba, do you have any, off the top of your head, sorry to put you on the spot, any one or two specific anecdotes of funny stuff that happened with the BFL?
With him consistently was I used to make fun of him because the whiskey that he drank was shit. It was like the worst whiskey ever. It was in a plastic jug. It was huge. It was like a $15 bottle. Yeah. And whenever he would try to link up, he's like, "Would you come? And are you gonna bring your good stuff? Because I know you're not drinking my junk. And just come on, just bring it. I'm like, all right, dude, I'm gonna bring. He was consistent. He's like, I know you're not gonna drink my junk, but I like it. So don't effing judge me, whatever. So he always used to get on my for anything. He used to just get on my ass, just scream at me for something, just always bark at me. And he was just notorious for sending random texts at the weirdest times of day or at night, And the cool thing about him and what really touched my heart was just he would just send the message like, I love you, right? I just wanted you to know that. All right, go F off. Bye.
That's randomly. How you know he was drinking, right?
Yeah,
he would text you and say, "Hey, I love you."
Yeah, he's like, I love you, right? All right, go F off, bastard.
It's funny, if I may, I'll share a funny story to kind of piggyback off of that. Yeah. So one of the first times he came over, I didn't know what kind of whiskey he drank, or scotch whiskey, whatever. So I said to him, "What do you want to drink?" Because I knew he was going to drink. He was spending the night. He was going to crash, whatever. He goes, "Well, I drink whiskey," right? And I said, "Oh, okay, cool." I didn't know if he had a preference or anything. So I ended up getting, is it Remy Martin? I don't know what the brand is, but it's Black Label. Something Black Label. Johnny Walker, that's right. Yeah. So I ended up getting Black Label, which I hear is better than Red Label. I don't know if that's right or not. So I got him the Black Label, and he comes over and he goes, "Papa, why did you do this? This is the expensive stuff. I don't need this." I was like, I don't know what's what. I don't know what's good, what's bad. But he was really, really appreciative of that. But I can, definitely vouch for what Angel is saying. He used to have like the really cheap plastic jug, and he had to water it down. That's the only way you could drink that stuff.
Oh, no.
It's like rubbing alcohol.
It was called McGregor's or something like that. It was
yeah.
McGregor's.
Yeah, I think you're right.
$20 plastic bottle. Oh, trash.
Yeah, but Cuba, you did drink videos with you where you had a drink, which I should imagine was.
I brought my own. No, I'd never drink that trash.
I get it.
Never. He knew it. Yeah. He knew it. That's why he's like, I know you're bringing your stuff. Bring whatever you want. He goes, are we really gonna water this down with ginger ale? I go, yeah, it's fine, no problem. He goes, really? I was like, you want me to bring an extra one? You could just keep it here. He's like, no. I got my $20, whatever. But yeah, the drinking games was super fun. Like it became after that first one, and it ended up picking up some traction. He's like, we got to do this more often, man. This was super fun. And I was like, as long as we can meet somewhere neutral, because his house was far. As far as driving, I was troop.
So sorry, Cuba. Where are you? You're in New York City as well, right?
I'm in Jersey now.
Oh, you're okay, right.
Yeah, I was in New York. I was in northern Manhattan.
Okay.
So yeah, his is true.
The drinking, yeah. This is, geez, I just would have loved to see where things would have gone by now, if you, because YouTube moves so fast, and the collabs and stuff, whether they're in person or the kind of you can do stream. I tell you what, I would have been begging him to be on my stream every week. Anyhow, I'm going to move on to a little next phase of my little questions here, and this is not to be sad, but I just want to say I wanted to do a little section on sort of how much of a gap he's left really in the community, because 2 years on, I'm sure many of us sort of sometimes I pinch myself and think, is he really not here anymore? That's crazy.
Yeah.
How much of a gap do you think he's left? If you want to say about in your life, yes, and that would be great. And also within, I think genuinely, and I'm not, this is not bullshit. I think in the community there is a kind of a gaping hole that can't really be filled because he was one of a kind. How do you feel about that, Stephen?
For me, I can only speak to the gap in terms of a lot of the new releases that I get. And he's kind of there the whole time. Like I'll get a new fragrance and I'm in love with it. And the first thought that comes to my mind is, Carlos would have loved this one. Or adversely, he would have hated this one. Right. So I always kind of think of it in that regard. But, in terms of the YouTube content, I think he left a huge gap. He was incredibly talented, not only with the, being able to pick up on what a fragrance is, but with the music. And he was multi-talented in that way. I remember one day he had a Zara fragrance, or I had a Zara fragrance, and I brought it over. I forget what it was called, maybe Accord Woody or something like that. And I said, hey, I just got this from Zara. I think you're going to love it. And he goes, oh, this is a clone. I said, is it? I don't know. I've never smelled anything that smells like this. And he got a little sample of B by Balenciaga. And he goes, try this. I bet you it's the same thing. And I tried it and I was like, oh my God, like you're really, really good at that. So not only did he have, I don't think he had perfect pitch. I think he had relative pitch, but he was really good at just like listening to a song and just playing it. So for me, in terms of the gap that he left behind, it kind of transcends what he did on YouTube. Like I just have really fond memories of him chasing my daughter around the coffee table, or, just that dude that would text you in the middle of the night. And a lot of it was actually kind of funny. And I have to tell him in a polite way, of course, to F off sometimes, because he would text me at like 11 o'clock at night. And he's like, hey man, I think I had one too many. Could you edit my thumbnail for me? And it got to a point where every single day I was editing a thumbnail for him. So if you see the ones with the little white border and it has like all the special effects and stuff, those are the ones that I made for him. But it was kind of cute, and I'm glad that I was there for him as much as I was. And the same thing goes for you guys.
Wow. Quick super chat. Thank you. These are coming in thick and fast. Keep them coming, guys. We've got a goal of $400 for New York homeless charity there. And this is a DQ star with a $5 super chat. That takes up to $295. We are nearly 3/4 of the way there. Let's keep them coming. Let's get that $400. Thank you so much. DQ star loved Carlitos. RIP. Steve, what happened to Carlo's fragrance collection? DQ style reviews in Spanish. Thank you. Good luck with your channel. Go and follow this guy, people. Thank you for the super chat. I guess we don't want to dwell on those details too much, but it is a question that naturally some people have speculated about. So if you want to address that, Stephen, you can briefly. You probably don't know though, right?
I do know. He had a lot. He had a lot of bottles.
Thank you, DQ style. Thank you.
Thank you so much for the super chat and the thoughtful question. And I think it's a question that I've gotten several times on my channel, and I think I've answered it several times on my channel. But it went to his mother in Florida. So it was kind of one of the last remaining vestiges of his memory. And for me, I have like one or two of his fragrances. I have Amber Absolute. The one that you see behind me here is actually an empty bottle, but I have a small 50 ml, and I know, so I'll point at it again. So this one actually belonged to him, the Amber Absolute. Yeah. But I do have a 50 ml, and I have his bottle of Avignon by Comme des Garçons. He loved that one so much. And I have his bottle of Fracas. And he loved the heady floral fragrances. I hate those fragrances, but he loved those. So I know for, initially there was a little bit of a discussion as like, oh, there he is. How you doing?
Good evening, you
Hey,
beautiful
Chris
people.
Fragmental, welcome to the show.
welcome.
We'll just let
Good
Stephen
to
finish
see
his
you.
point, and then I'll
Sure.
welcome you properly. Stephen, yeah.
Of course, no, just to summarize, initially we weren't sure what was going to happen to it. And, he had a lot of close friends here. And, I guess the decision was made ultimately to have it sent over to his mother, and, he did, he has a lot of family, and, he has a brother here in the States, and, he has his mother who's living down in Florida with her partner. So, as long as I have one or two fragrances, even if it's a fragrance in my own personal collection that didn't belong to him, that reminds me of him, I think that's enough for me. The memories are all I want.
Thank you for the super chat, DQ Style. Hey, I'll drop the link. Apparently, he is a great friend of Manny Aceves, former guest, and hopefully will be again soon. Link is there in the chat. Go and subscribe to DQ Style, and really appreciate the
Thank
super
you,
chat.
David.
Great. Fragmental, Chris. Hello. Thank you so much for staying up
Evening.
late here in the UK to be with me. And then we're going to bring in Basic Monaco too. Chris from Fragmental, welcome to the show. Before we get down to a bit of Carlos stuff, how are you doing? How's life up there in York? And do you have a scent of the night?
Yeah, life is good here. I've had to instruct my kids not to wake me up too early in the morning, so I can stay up a little later tonight. That's the problem. It's what time people get me out of bed in the morning. 10 years ago, these live streams I would have been on every one because I stayed up a lot later. So my scent of the night, I've been wearing this for the last couple of hours. It's Oud Wood. You asked me to pick out my favorite Tom Ford. A toss up between this and tobacco oud and Tuscan leather, I would say, but this was the first one of the private blend I smelt, so I've gone with Oud Wood, and yeah, loving it. Smelling good.
Superb choice. We're doing that, of course, because Carlos' favorite brand, I think I'm right in saying, was Tom Ford, particularly the private blends. Thank you, Chris, and I really appreciate you staying up late to do this.
Oh, you're welcome.
Do you have a little dram of whiskey there, or are you clean tonight?
No, I've actually not been drinking much lately. I've been staying dry and clean, but I thought in honor of you, Dan, and obviously so I can toast Carlos, I've gone for a Brewdog Hazy Jane, so it's a little cloudy in there.
Nice.
An IPA, classic.
Yeah, it's good. So cheers.
Bottoms up to Carlos.
peace, Carlos.
I knew he would have no problem with us drinking whilst discussing.
Absolutely not.
So someone said to me, "Oh, so you're going to be on your best behavior tonight? You won't be drinking." I was like, "No, I don't think so." Okay, so super chat here. We got a super chat. Hey guys, I really appreciate these super chats. These are so much appreciated. $1.99. What's up, gentlemen? R.I.P. Carlos. 297, guys. Come on, we are going to get that $400 goal. Thank you so much. S2DAL Fragrances, $1.99 super chat. Amazing. I'm going to leave Redolessence in charge for 2 minutes while I just go and powder my nose for 1 second. So
You just do that 5 minutes ago.
Listen, man. Fragmental. I want to just if you can share with us a couple of your fondest memories of Carlos, that would be absolutely amazing.
Yeah,
sure. And then I'm going to bring in Basic Monaco. I'll be right.
As has been mentioned quite a lot, it seems to be one of Carlos's great legacies was the designer or niche drinking game, and I would say they were my favorite videos to watch. Legendary videos, and I said to Carlos when I knew I was coming over to Scent Explorer, I said, Carlos, can we film something, and can it be a game of designer or niche? And he was like, yes, of course. Bring the booze though. Yeah, I think that was the deal with it. He used to say to people, you bring the booze. Otherwise, he would have been spending a lot of money on booze for everyone who wanted to play designer or niche. And so he was just so generous, and he met me. I remember he met me when I came off the subway. It's a subway, yeah. It's not the metro. Is it the subway?
The subway, yeah. Right.
Yeah, and he was standing there with his cap on, that iconic image of good old Carlos, and big smile on his face, and he just gave me a hug, and he said, "Oh my God, what are you wearing? It smells amazing." So the first word that came out of his mouth was a compliment from him, and then he said, "Right, let's go and buy this bottle of Cafe Patron." And we did that, and walked up to his apartment, and there you were, Stephen. You were sitting in there.
That's right.
I don't think I even knew that you were meant to be there. So that was a nice surprise when I walked through the door. And to me, even Carlos's apartment was a great set. It was this legendary background of all the shelves with all these fragrances, and he used to have some Chinese fans or something in the background.
He did, yeah, the Chinese cat and the fans and everything. Yeah, he loved that aesthetic.
Yeah, and he was one of the first YouTubers that I started watching when it came to fragrance videos. So to walk in there and suddenly be in the place that I'd seen for the last couple of years, it was great. And then what happened, Stephen. We all sort of got pretty pissed, drunk, whilst playing. I lost. I lost very badly in a game of Designer or Niche, which I was okay with that. I think I was quite happy to go on there and lose. And then I think we got so drunk that night, actually, that after all that, later into the evening, Carlos and I filmed a video that I wanted to do for my channel, and I wanted to talk about Tom Ford fragrances. And we shot this video and then got home from New York, and I edited it all, and I was looking at it and I was thinking, oh God, I'm not sure about this. I don't know if we can put this in the public domain. We were so drunk, and I sent it to him, and he said, "Yeah, I don't care, Chris. Just put it out there." I was like, "Oh, okay." And then a couple of days later, he got back to me and he said, "You know what? I've had second thoughts. Let's not upload that video." So it was all fully edited, a fully edited video, ready to go, that the world has never seen. It's just sitting on my hard drive, and no one will ever see it, because that was his wish. And now I sort of feel like, oh, that's mine and Carl's little thing now. We shot that, and we both agreed that we wouldn't upload it. So it's our private little video of rating Tom Ford fragrances. But he was so hospitable, great guy. And it was a pleasure to meet him and be in his company. He was a good guy. And you know what? More than anyone else in the fragrance community, in fragrance YouTube, Carlos would comment, not on every video, obviously, because nobody can do that, but he would comment on everyone's videos from time to time.
I did say that earlier, yeah, which was rare. Yeah.
And I just no one else did it before him, and no one else does it since him. But he was always there. Every now and then he would pop up, a little message of support, and it was lovely to see, and that just goes to show that the community, I think, was as important to Carlos as the fragrances, if not more important, actually.
Yeah, absolutely. Great memories. Thank you so much, Chris. We've got the super chats and a couple of other comments from the community there. Hello, Basic Malako. I'm going to introduce you properly in 2 seconds. Welcome. What a we've got a panel here. People in the USA, people in the UK, and Ecuador. We are international here. This panel, says Remington. Wow, hats off to Daniel. I'm very honoured with amazing guests tonight. Really appreciate you guys showing up for a great show. Quick super chats here, guys. We've got Dave B. If I can make it appear. Here we go. Scent of £1.79. Thank you. Scent of the night. Initio side effect. Ball sprayed. Thank you. In honor of Cuba. Just
Glorious.
be careful. That's not that. I don't think he means that expression to be taken literally, but that's your that's your
literal.
problem. Are you doing? Okay.
Yeah, sure. Of course.
Okay. Well, I can't take any medical responsibility for what happens to viewers. Thank you so much.
Burning.
Yeah, I bet there would be. Thank you, Dave B. Generous super chat. We're on 299. Let's keep them coming. And then we're going to say hello to our great regular guest. And we've got Jared Miller. I'm running out of paper now to write this. 299. And we have a very generous $10 super chat. Fragcom Legend. Thank you, Jared Miller, with a $10 super chat. 180 people watching. That's a great crowd for us. Hit the thumbs up. Fragcom Legends, Fragmental, Redolessence, Cuba, and Mr. Smully. I've watched all of your channels for a very long time. Raise a glass to Carlos. Yeah, we certainly will. And if you're drinking at home, do the same.
Cheers, Jared.
Bottoms up. So we are now, if we add 10 to 299, help me out, Stephen, you're a teacher, 309. Thank you so much. Really, really, really generous super chat. You know, any super chat of any size is so welcome, but that's a very kind and generous one. We've had some absolute whoppers, including our two guests very kindly giving about $50 each, which was insane. The decant with his traditional $11.11, I'm going to call that $11. Thank you so much. The decant, this is the mystery channel, and he says, as we mark this anniversary of Carlos's passing, his contribution to the world of fragrance will be remembered for years to come. He has been deeply missed. R.I.P. That is a really touching and nice merit message, which takes just to $320. You know, this is really nice. Super chat and the money to the charity aside, for the homeless charity, just nice to get those. You know, if any one of his friends or family were watching, I think this is a nice thing for the community to do. You know, we don't forget. I know internet moves so fast. And we were all upset and made a big fuss when he passed. But it's easy to sort of then not do anything. That's why I kind of thought it'd be kind of nice to do this a couple of years down the line. So thank you, the decant. Chris, that was a lovely, poignant anecdote. And here we go. Cuba.
KY jelly,
Slightly different note there.
Vaseline.
Cuba,
what I'm saying?
please, yeah. Help us out here.
So, warm hands, KY, Vaseline. I mean, whatever. You can put aftershave on your nuts.
Yes, thank you for that. Okay, so $2 super chat. Cuba, your recipe for burnt ball balls. Thank you so much, Dwayne, for the $2 super chat.
Coconut
For a
oil.
great call. You can still troll us and be cheeky in the chat. Please do come up with those guys. Thank you. Let me. I'm being very, very rude. We've got a wonderful guest, the intellectual of the community, and this is Basic Malacco. Danilo, the one of the best dressed men on my live streams, and a great part of our community. Danilo, Basic Malacco, welcome to the stream. How are you doing down there in Ecuador?
Wonderful, Mr. Smelly. Thank you for having me today. I think I'm in the presence of legends tonight. And I have to tell you, when I thought about Tom Ford fragrances, Carlos was my go-to guy for his references and his opinions about the fragrances. Not only about Tom Ford, obviously, about so many knowledge that he had about so many fragrances, but
Yes.
tobacco oud specifically is one I really enjoy. And this is my preferable scent during the nights whenever you can catch a little bit of a cold weather in sunny Ecuador. This is a lovely fragrance to wear. Nice meeting
Great
you all,
selection.
gentlemen.
I agree.
I'm just going to drop one more link there. I didn't give the link to one other guest, which is one of my typical mistakes that I make. Here it is. There, Kitchi K is going to be joining us, and I want to make the point. Look, we've got guests. I interacted with Carlos a little bit. Of course, Stephen and Cuba met him several times, and Fragmental, you met him in person too. But the point of tonight, and if people want to hop up, because I'm going to open it up a little bit more to friends in the community. The point is to stress the fact that whether you actually met him in person or whether you have a whether you have a big YouTube channel or whether you interacted, he impacted so many lives just through the fact that we subscribed and followed his channel. So please don't feel that you must have a personal anecdote of speaking to him. It's all about the huge impact he had on so many people, and at least to some extent can continue to have by the fact that his channel is still there. So we do want to really, really stress that. Is Basic a new reviewer? He hasn't actually got a channel yet. He's been an illustrious guest on the stream though. And this is the beauty of, live streaming is a different kind of world actually. And I'm dipping my toe into it. We'll see what's going to happen. But we get people here who don't have a channel, but it gives us a chance to interact with the community and stars do emerge. S2DAO fragrances there. Okay, so let's just summarize on the Carlos thing. It's we can't just pretend it's all happy and nice. So it has left a lot of us kind of feeling sad, and particularly for you, Stephen. And I don't want to get too sort of negative here, but how hard did it hit you, and how hard was it to sort of keep on going and upload those next videos after we lost Carlos? It must have been very, very difficult to pick yourself up again.
I think, as always, there's a little bit of denial that kind of accompanies a situation like this. And, initially when I heard the news, I didn't want to believe it. I was like, no, this isn't. And usually it's the same sentiment that people say, right? Like, I just spoke to him. Yeah, it
can't
it's hard
be true
to imagine that. Yeah. I mean, I know in terms of the content, it felt weird And I know a lot of time had elapsed before I even decided to collaborate with anybody since then, because it just didn't feel right. Even, the bench that I used to sit on where I would shoot the majority of my videos, the space right next to me, it being unoccupied, just felt so weird. Kind of this haunting, looming presence. But once I came to terms with the fact that, I really do believe that he's in a better place, and the positive memories that he's imparted on us, and just kind of thinking to myself, what would he have wanted for me or for us to do? And it's not to wallow around in our own sorrow, but to actually pick ourselves up and shoot more content and keep being passionate. And once I had that sort of little internal pep talk, I realized that just trudging forward was the best way to do it. And I'm very grateful for all of the memories that I've had with him, and I think he's had a really, really good influence on a lot of people. So I'm very grateful for that.
Yeah, couldn't agree more. We're going to go to Blake super chat there. Thank you for the generous $1.99 super chat, taking us to 322, I think. Yeah, we're on. No, that's 324. 324 dollars now, roughly speaking, and I will be able to check that exactly when I check my stats. We got a goal of 400. Thank you. Wow, what a panel, Blake. Thank you. Great, good crowd tonight. 182 people watching. That's a really nice crowd. Thank you so much, guys. And I'm really happy to, I owe it to you guests for putting the time in, because people are excited to see you and hear your recollections. And we actually owe it to we owe it to Carlos. It's because of his weight in the community that people are so happy to be here and watch what we're saying about him. Thank you, DDLD, for the comment there. Joe, great part of the community. Hop on if you want. I'm going to drop the link a little bit more widely for people in a few minutes. Thank you, DDLD. Great stream tonight, Norton. Chris there. People happy to see you here, Chris. Absolutely.
Hi, Terry.
Last thing then, I just want to mention about his musical stuff then, because he was, you actually, let me just play. I mean, it may not be the greatest work of musical art in history, but it must be close. In the Fragcom, I'm going to play his tune there, and we'll talk about the musical side, because, I mean, he was a pretty serious musician. So let's just, if I can, this is hard for someone of my age, let me get control, do video. Let me just play my little, hang on, no, shift, isn't it? Yep. Here we go, guys. I'm going to play the BFL intro, which included a little bit of his theme tune, and here it is, guys. Coming up. Oh. No.
Brooklyn fragrance lover. Brooklyn fragrance lover. Brooklyn fragrance.
Just about, guys. We just about got there. It was such a legendary theme tune, and I think he got a lady that he knew to sing it, but he did actually compose that. Is that right, Stephen?
Yeah, so he actually wrote that. He was in his friend's car. Her name was Nina Pelton, and he was talking about how he came up with this tune, and he had the idea for it, and he just needed to have like a really nice, soothing, smooth voice on it. So he said, "Hey, could you sing this for me?" So he had some kind of an app on his phone or whatever, and she recorded it in her car, I guess, on a rainy day, if my recollection is correct. So it was very very impulsive, very like spur of the moment kind of a thing. But yeah, he actually wrote a lot of original music. He covered a lot of music, but he played in a lot of groups when he was younger, and he was a very talented, pianist.
So piano was his main instrument. I think he played a bit of, was it guitar or bass or both? And he sang too, right, Stephen?
Yeah, he could do, for the most, in terms of stringed instruments, he played the guitar. And he knew a few chords, nothing crazy. He didn't do any like finger licks or anything like that. But I remember us getting ready to collaborate with Kristen, and he goes, "Man, we need a bass. So I remember going to my local music store, and I bought like $100 Squire bass or something like that. And he's like, "Okay, yeah, this is good enough." And so we got together and, we recorded a few songs, a Christmas tune, some Green Day songs. I know you've all seen the videos, but
Yeah.
he did a lot. He did a lot. Guitar, piano. He didn't play any woodwinds or any brass instruments or anything like that. I don't think that was his bailiwick, but he certainly knew a lot.
All right. As usual, I put the wrong person full screen. I was just sending the link to Kitchi K if she hasn't got. Son of Smelly with a thank you for that. Lovely avatar there. Son of Smelly with a $1 super chat. Really appreciate that for the super sticker. 325. We've got another one. The super chats are great. We're nearly there. We're going to hit this, guys. Let's smash through it though. John Carlo Burton with a $5 super chat. $5 peace and respect to all Fragcom. Thank all the Fragcom. Thank you, John Carlo Burton. We are on 330. Let's keep that next 70 coming in and hopefully above and beyond. Thank you for the generous support. Got another guest coming in backstage. Love this intro. Yeah, I think it just about played. It was a beauty. One of the most memorable, probably the most memorable theme tune ever in Fragcom. Manny Aceves with a $10 super chat. Manny from Mexico. Hop on if you want, by the way. We want international recollections of the great man himself, Brooklyn Fragrance Lover. Hope this contribution helps to meet the goal. BFL will always be remembered for all he brought to the community, home and abroad. A big hug to all the panel from a humble reviewer in the Mexico community. Thank you, Manny. You are a great part of this community, and I love that we've had collaborations with you. I love to link up with the Spanish-speaking community, and you've been a great guest on our stream, and I've even been privileged to be on yours. $340 so far. Keep them coming, guys. Thank you. Thank you. One more coming in, guys, and then we'll get back. People are really coming together, and, there's a lot of cynicism in the Fragcom, so it is nice. In Carlos' memory, we do something nice for real people who will get benefit from this. That's kind of a nice thing, I think. I Smell with a $9.99, $10 super chat. Thank you so much. $3.50 I Smell Mike. We really appreciate that. Rest well, Carlos, he says. Thank you. One of the first reviewers I ever came across, and still one of the best intros in the entire fragrance space. Could not agree more. Generous super chat. Thank you so much. Okay. Chris, when did you first sort of come across Carlos' channel? Was it one that influenced you? And was it like it was for me, that he was one of the first people, after you find Jeremy or whatever, the algorithm, roughly the era we got into this, probably throws up next, and then BFL not too far behind, right?
Yeah, you know what? I don't even know if Jeremy was maybe the first for me. It could have been Stephen. I was researching Perfume Parlor at the time, and I was getting into it and discovering it. So I was searching for videos, and Stephen popped up with a Perfume Parlor video. And obviously through watching Stephen, then I think probably I was either suggested Carlos's channel or I saw Carlos doing a video with Stephen, but I found him pretty quickly. And just, not having heard his intro for a couple of years, it actually, it takes me back to that, the time I made the decision to start really getting into fragrances and start my channel, because I was watching every single video Carlos was putting out. So it really does take me back to that. I don't watch as many YouTube videos anymore, but at the time I was watching a lot because I was trying to learn. I was learning a lot. So to hear it again was took me back. But he was certainly one of the first sort of maybe first top 5 first YouTube fragrance reviews I discovered, I think.
100%. Yeah, same here. We've got a super chat coming in. One of the great super chatters from the channel here. We have Visit Hull. Though, here we go. Let's see what he's doing today. £5 super chat. Those complaining about wet wipes being bad for the environment have obviously never... I'll put myself full screen for this one. Just to spare anyone else the blushes. Here we go, guys. He says, I'm afraid, those complaining about wet wipes being bad for the environment have obviously never bent over my girlfriend. It's like a sticky, half-melted chocolate orange. Thank you. It's all to a good cause. $355 of super chats. Visit How We Love You. You're a great part of the chat there. Thank you. Legendary comments, as always, from you. Welcome to the show. Dave from Callie's Groom Room. So nice to have you here with us. How are you doing, Dave?
I'm doing well. How are you, sir?
Absolutely great. I'll share the link for your channel. Welcome.
Fantastic. Thank you.
We have a scent of the night, please share. And we'll kick off with that question for you, sir.
I'll get to my scent of the night, but if you don't mind, I'd love to share my scent of the day because there's a reason for that.
Go for it.
It is Gold Night by Killian, or was, whatever. So when I was first introduced to you, Dan, by Carlos, this was the scent I was wearing that night. It was New Year's Eve. It was New Year's Eve. God, what was that?
Hang on a minute. Carlos introduced me to you.
Yes, we were on
Explain. Well, you have
we
to
were
come.
on
I'll let you come to this in your own way. I'm perplexed.
Yes, we were on his New Year's Eve live stream together. It was Carlos, Kristen, myself, you, Joe sent me. Yes, that's when Joe sent me.
How drunk was I? When did this happen?
You must have been pretty. You were probably drunk. We'll leave it at that.
Oh, how many? Okay, keep going. Sorry, I
really think it was 2019. I swear.
Wow. Okay, keep going. Sorry, keep going.
But yeah, we were on the stream together, and that's the night where Joe went at me because I hadn't had tried Gravitas yet, so he went in pretty hard on me. I'll never forget that. It was all in good fun. It was fun. It was a fun night. I was on my cell phone inside of my car that night because Carlos told me, and I quote, "If you don't show up and you ghost me on that stream, I'll be so pissed off at you." So I had to show up. You know what? Steven popped on for 2 seconds also. Steven was on for a minute.
I think I vaguely remember that live stream. Yeah.
So he was drunk, not me. Good. Just making that clear.
This is scary. This is scary.
Yeah.
We've got a great super chat coming in there. Thank you so much, Jared Miller, with a $10 super chat. This is great. We do want these happy memories of Carlos. This is what the show is all about. Jared Miller with a $10 super chat. The intro brings back many fond memories of his channel. Cuba, your tribute was it was a perfect tribute. Yes, indeed. Great video. I think that you did. Bro. Thank you. Yeah, of course. That was excellent. Thank you for the generous super chat. We are just $35 from our goal, but we want to smash through it and keep going after that. But we have $365
to interrupt.
Yep.
I have dinner with the family. Friday night dinner with the family.
They could wait.
But I want to say thank you everyone for having me. Dan, thank you for the invite. And I think bro, you're a stand-up gentleman for doing this. It's not often people do this type of thing, but Carlos was an amazing dude. He left an impression on everybody, and I don't usually do these live stream things. I'm very on point with my time, but this was important. And Dan, thank you for having me, and it was a pleasure to interact with all you guys, man. Honestly, thank you so much. And I'm gonna have another whiskey with dinner in memory of Carlos.
Cuba, I really, really appreciate you doing this. You're an absolute gentleman, and I won't forget it. And I'm sure none of us will. So thank you so much. Really appreciate it.
Thank you, gentlemen. You have a beautiful weekend, all right?
Good to see you again.
Have a great night. Have a great night.
Take care, gentlemen.
And all of you guests, your time is massively appreciated. Don't feel shy if you need to go. That's no problem. We really appreciate this. Carlos would have appreciated it too. $5 super chat. Great panel. Happy Friday. We're up to 370, guys. We're going to hit that 400 goal, but we're going to smash through it. Thank you, Aaron V. He is a great part of the community and a great friend, actually. Thank you so much, Aaron V. Really, really appreciate the super chat. We've got also coming in there with, hey, Chad, Gentleman's Journey. I tell you what, I'm going to play his clip now. Thank you so much. We've got a clip from Chad. Thank you, Chad. Gentleman's Journey. I'll call that about $25 US. I don't know the translation. 35 Canadian dollars. Thank you. Wish I was on, but still working for another 3 hours. RIP Carlos. So that takes us up to 75 plus. Let's call it about 25. I don't know. Roughly $395. Okay, ish. We need a little bit of headroom there because sometimes I get my numbers wrong. Roughly, I don't know. Thank you. We're very close to our target. Thank you. Officially, we may have hit it. Thank you, Chad. And I'm going to play your clip now. Great part of the community. And Chad would have been here, but he works very hard. Gerard George with a $4.99. Hey, hop on if you want. I'm going to open this up now. And we'll, at this point, $400 officially might have been reached, but I know last time I overestimated. So I need these to keep coming. because we're there or thereabouts, but I'm guesstimating. I think we've hit $400 officially. Keep them coming up, okay? Gerard George, we love you. Thank you so much. Generous super chat of $5. Take us to the $400 mark. I'm just going to scroll on down the chat a little bit longer. It's a red one. What's that coming in there? I think we've got them all now. I think we've got them all. Yeah, we have. Okie dokie. Missed one, Dan. Yeah, I thought I did. Okay, thanks. Thank you. Visit how I appreciate the heads up, guys, because it's hard. Oh, geez. Yeah, another one for me to go full screen on. $402. Always on topic. Visit how we don't mind. This guy's friendly. He's all right. Her skid marks are like a fish van drag strip. I have no idea what that means. Thank you. Visit how, as it's to such a good cause. We really, really appreciate you and thank you. He's a humorous part of the chat there. Really, really appreciate the super chat. Let me just catch up with last kind of things. We'll move on to more general topics now. Chris. And then I'll go to other guests. How do you think, because it moves so fast, 2 years is a long time, right? The YouTube space has changed even a fair bit in 2 years. How do you think, Chris, and you're very adept at adapting to what YouTube wants and doing great with your views and your growth on the channel. How do you think Carlos would have adapted to the new world of YouTube? Would he have still been able to thrive and survive? What do you think?
I feel like he always had something up his sleeve, and like you talked about, he was great at he knew getting the female opinions was an important part of it, so I think he probably would have continued to do that. And I don't know, I guess maybe he would have got out on the street a little bit. Maybe he would have made some more vlog type videos. I don't know. I think he would have or maybe Carlos was just doing exactly what he needed to do to get the views. Maybe he might not have needed to change. I don't know. He always seemed pretty consistent with his views.
Yeah, he did. Gerard George, I forgot to actually read out your super chat, which was very kind of $5. Dan, if you ever find yourself a little too tipsy, I would be honored to edit your thumbnail to you. To Carlos, chin. Yes, absolutely. I'm often too tipsy to do much of any worth on the back end of these live streams. Thank you so much, Gerard. I really appreciate that. So we have Raf and Diran Baseclef with a hey Dan panel and chat. Great to see you down under there. Okay, listen, at this point this has been absolutely amazing. I will transition into a more general conversation with a Carlos theme, okay, because this has been a great way to remember him. We will never forget Carlos, and we still have a theme because we're going to talk about Italian Cyprus. We're going to talk about Tom Ford fragrances, and we're also going to get any new guests will share their thoughts on Carlos. But we'll transition into our sort of some of our more general topics will be happening now, but they will have a BFL theme for the rest of the night. So let's just bring on a fantastic regular alongside my great friend Basic Malarco. In the recent months, we've also discovered a new I find the talent, guys. I find the talent, and this is the amazing Kitschy K. Hello, Kitschy K.
Hi.
Welcome. Can you put unless you're okay, you're mainly looking to focus on the dolls rather than yourself, are you? We'd like more in the shot, wouldn't we? Look at the dolls, though. Oh my goodness. Okay.
All right, I'll put it down a little bit. I just wanted to show off the sexy Betty Page right there. Check her out.
That works for me. Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, okay, I'll point it.
You know what that reminds me of? Katy Perry.
Katy Perry?
Who needs Katy Perry? Betty Page was already doing it 50 years ago.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Well, either one's good. Okay. Welcome, Kitschy Kate. Great to have you on the show. We've got a special Carlos theme, so we'll kick off with that. Let's just, before we do that, though, I want to ask you your fragrance of the night. 166 people watching. Keep hitting those thumbs up. Redolessence. Let me just introduce you guys. Redolessence. This is Kitschy K, great new guest on my stream. Callie's Green Room, Fragmental. Basic Malarco, introduce you to everybody. He doesn't have a YouTube channel, but he's been a very intellectual and fascinating guest on my live stream, and it's a real honor. I really am honored to have a great panel. Kitschy K, scent of the night. please?
So I layered La Petite Robe Noire from Guerlain with La Petite Robe Noire Black Perfecto to give it a little bit more edge, but to also add more femininity, so the leather's not too standout.
I love it. Okay, Kitchi K has a great channel. Go and subscribe. I will drop the link in 2 seconds. I'm going to hit a super chat there. Angry Dan, it's my alter ego. That's fine. Canadian $2 super chat. I'll round that to 1 because I don't want to overestimate the because we got 403. I'd like a couple more big super chats just to make sure we get over that barrier and keep them coming all night, guys. Thank you, Angry Dan. I must have actually pulled that face, unless they've got a very good Photoshop. Thank you. Dan, get angry. Drink more. That's not enough. I'll do my best. I'll do my best. Okay, thank you.
Gents, I was just admiring all our backgrounds, thinking that we'd all done a pretty good job. And then Kay has come on, and she's just won the best background of the night, I think.
Well,
Well
let's
done.
do background and outfit of the night. That's actually a very good theme. Let's have a look. We've got some great competition here. Okay, let's go to Redolessence first. Now, Redolessence, this is a legendary background that's been seen for many years. It's evolved. It's sort of like a true. This is a pro YouTube background. Tell us, does this have us like a special room in your house, and how hard is it for your wife not to take that room over for other purposes?
So we actually do share the room, believe it or not. I don't live in that big of a house. So this is actually my basement, which I call my studio. And I have about half of my collection here. So I kind of did my best to try to categorize it by brand. That makes it easier for when I'm compiling lists and stuff like that. But the other half of my collection is at a different property where I used to live. So I'm kind of, and I have like a storage, whatever. So I'm kind of divvying it up among the 3 places, and it's really difficult. But yeah, I kind of come down here. It's very cold down here. But I come down here when I want solitude, and, when I'm trying to get into that, sort of video recording mode and whatnot. But thank you for the kind words. I know everybody here has a nice background.
Must be good for sound dampening as well, being down there in a basement. You don't get traffic and sirens and things like that. Must be good.
Yeah, and it's kind of a quiet neighborhood too, so you don't really hear a lot of sirens. That's a really good point.
Okay.
Listen, Stephen, we obviously we're focusing on Carlos tonight, but I must say you are an icon of Fragcom, and your background is iconic, as are you. So I must say, on a personal level, it is a little bit of an honor to have you on the stream. Thank you so much. It's really
the honor's all mine.
Such a apart from the Carlos thing that we're talking about tonight, I'm thrilled. Let's go around the room on the backgrounds then, and we'll go to Fragmental. Yours is very, you're a real pro, aren't you? You really know about all this TV. You've been an actor on Doctor Who, Coronation Street. Do you know, guys? He does the voiceovers for is it Jet 2?
Yeah, Jet2.com. I've been looking to do that for about 10 years now. Yeah, so that's been a good gig for me.
So he gets this world. He gets this world of media, and that background. I think it's really, really good. How did you sort of plan that one out? It works. It's very.
So I've got a soft box light in front of me to light me, and then I've just got literally a little portable blue light which is illuminating the wall, and I've got these lamps in the background and couple of shelves, camera there. That's it. Nothing like it. Special.
It looks like you're up in the top of the house, though.
I'm in the top of the house. I spend probably more than half my life in this room. When I before I started my channel, this was my cinema room. So I've got a big cinema screen here and a sound system in. So it sounds fantastic. Best thing I ever bought was this cinema room. And then when I started making videos, I started filming them in here, and I edit them in here. I watch all my films, I watch all my TV in here. So I've got a bathroom up here as well. So the kids and my wife never see me. I just live up here.
Well, key question that leads me to the key question: is there a lockable door that you can lock? You can actually lock them out.
It's not lockable.
Okay, that's okay. That's the next thing you need. It looks very, very nice. I really like it. And again, incredibly neat shelf of fragrances behind you. Let's just catch up. Damn it, guys. if you could see my fragrances.
Well,
nestled amongst the cornflakes.
when they're in this
It wouldn't
soft
be.
focus in the background, it looks all right, Dan. But if I got up close, you would see how uncategorized it all is. It's literally
Okay.
just
That
a show.
hides the dust. Okay, all
Yeah.
right. I'll
Yeah,
give you
yeah,
that
yeah,
one. All right. Okay, let's catch up on a few super chats, guys. The community's really done us proud. I'm so happy. Great audience tonight, and this is a testimony to the clout that the BFL has still in this community. We didn't forget our great friend there, Rob Whiff, with a $9.99 super chat, taking us to $413.
Wow.
We're almost certainly through the 400, but
Rob.
let's smash through it and onwards and beyond. This is all going to the New York homeless charity, which is called Coalition Against Homelessness. Is that right, Stephen?
Coalition for the Homeless. Yes.
For the homeless, not for homelessness. We're not in favor of that. For the homeless, Coalition for the Homeless in New York City, which is a very, very good charity indeed from my research. 413, but no, not 413 because we have $8.99, which I'll call £8.99. I'll call that $10, folks. So 423, guys. Let's go for 500. Rod, thank you for the comment, guys. Really appreciate that. Rod Serling, if wearing a fragrance means you can take on the spirit of someone else, what? Then is perfume wearing not a form of conjuring? While we're talking, why don't you send me? I wrote The Twilight Zone. Wow, thank you for the generous. I really appreciate the generous super chat. I think Twilight Zone. What's a Twilight fragrance, guys? What's a Twilight kind of fragrance? I would go with something dark, mysterious, noir de noir. What do you think about that? Noir de noir, I would say, for the Twilight Zone. Very generous super chat. Love the avatar. Very kind of you. Thank you so much. Okay, let's just scroll on down the chat there. Great
And Dan, if
people
you don't
in the
mind,
chat there.
I do have
Yep.
to get going at this moment.
Stephen, I completely understand. Thank you so much. Amazing guest. We really appreciate you giving us your time. You've been awesome. And I hope you have a wonderful rest of your weekend with your family. I know this is probably a little bit hard time of the year for you to think of, Carlos, but I think we focused on the positives. And I think I'll always look back on this as something really nice that we shared. Thank you, Stephen.
Absolutely. I love it. And, you're doing something quite wonderful here. So thank you for taking the time and doing this live stream, and everybody who contributed to Coalition for the Homeless. That was really, really generous of you guys. So thank you for everything. Thank you for having me on. Sorry, I know this has been kind of long overdue, but I've been meaning to be on your channel for some time now. So thank you for being patient with me, and pleasure meeting everybody.
It was a perfect way to do it. Stephen, thank you so much. I hope I've had the pleasure of meeting you once. An absolute gentleman, a really nice guy, and I wish I had more chance to speak to you one-on-one. I hope it will happen someday soon. Thank you so much. Stephen, Redolessence.
Good to see you,
Thank
Stephen.
you.
Bye.
Ciao. Bye-bye.
Have a good
Pleasure
night,
to
buddy.
meet you.
Yes, sir.
See you next time. All right, amazing guest so far tonight. This has been fantastic. Let's go to the chat there. 157 people still with us. Hit that thumbs up button, and we're still remembering Carlos throughout the night there. We're going to go to the background situation. We're going to go to Kit GK last because you're obviously going to win this contest. Callie's Green Room, though, not a bad effort there. It's a bit of the old neon. Can you just, what is this neon thing with the YouTubers? Talk to me.
I don't know. I don't know what the fascination is, but let me tell you, I kind of love it. I have to say, I really enjoy it. It was something I was just thinking, like, I've always, I don't want to say the word hate, but I never really liked my backgrounds ever. And I was sitting down here in my basement. I feel like we all have a basement or an attic type of situation when it comes to our studios, right? So anyway, I was sitting down here and I was just thinking of ways like that I could improve it where I didn't have to do like some kind of renovation, because never mind. But anyway, I kind of put this idea together, and then it took me a few weeks to kind of really hone in on what I wanted. And I like this, but I want something more now.
It looks good. I like it.
It looks good.
I think the LEDs in the background look quite good because it separates the person from the background more. It's more of a contrast. So the subject pops a little bit more to the camera. I think that's why a lot of YouTubers go for that sort of thing.
All right, Chris, you're hired.
Yeah.
I tell you what.
It looks good. I like it.
Chris, you really know your stuff, actually. Yeah. Well, actually, we'll do the backgrounds, and I do have a couple of pertinent questions.
Yeah.
A little bit more Carlos stuff. If I can
Yeah.
hold you here for a minute, Chris, or do you need to go
Yes.
desperately? Or,
No. I'm good for a little bit. Yeah.
Good man. Okay. Let's go to. We're going to go to Malako. We'll do you last, okay? Because I'm going to go to Kitchi K, who hasn't had much input yet, and I want to fix that right now because let's face it, she has the most intriguing background ever on a live stream. Kitchi K, I think you better explain this to anyone who doesn't understand. What's going on with your background? Should we be afraid, or are these friendly dolls? Please
Yes,
please
you should be
explain this.
very afraid because they'll all come and haunt you if you don't super chat, Mr. Smelly.
Oh, good thing I super
I'm just
chat.
kidding.
Mr.
I'm just
Smelly.
kidding. Okay, so these are all vintage dolls from the 50s to the 70s.
Oh.
50s to
Do they all
70s.
have-
Okay.
Do they all have names?
I like the collector personality there.
Except for that one. That one over there is actually from last year. I got her at CVS.
Okay. So do you collect vintage dolls? I imagine you get most of these on eBay, or are there other specialist sites?
Yeah, I like Mercari the best though because it's much easier to navigate versus eBay.
Got you. Okay. And the 50s ones, like, are they kind of? Is it still made of like plastic or rubber, or?
Look at how gorgeous that is. She's from the 50s. She has this mechanism in her eyes. So when she tilts her head, the eyes can kind of move.
The other one moved.
But she's really cool. But yeah, like in the 50s, they had walking dolls, and like you wouldn't believe the toys that they had because they didn't have electronics to entertain people.
Yeah.
So toys were what entertain people, and that's why I like vintage dolls because they're way better quality than dolls nowadays. Like they're just amazing. Like the amount of plastic and like detail in the eyes, the eyelashes, everything, the hair quality, the way that the hair is rooted to the head, it's just everything.
I can actually, in a strange way, Kay, I kind of relate to that because I look back nostalgically on the mid 20th century and the analog era when things weren't digital, and I think that kind of completely different. But I like collecting old watches, and they're just things made in an almost antiquated way that doesn't need to exist anymore.
Now they have so many regulations, like with the fragrances, they have fragrance regulations, they have plastic regulations with toys nowadays. Like doll hair is sparse and it's made of plastic and it's not made out of real materials like old dolls are. So
I like it. I can actually relate to your kind of hobby.
Wow.
We've got Angry Dan there. He's back. $2 Canadian super chat. I really appreciate the super chat. Thank you, Dan. Where is Curly Poppers? She misses me lots. Great guest, actually. She's been in the chat. That takes us up to $423. Thank you so much. No, 424. Thank you for the super chat. Yeah, Curly Pop might hop on again. She's in the chat from time to time. Okay. Last bit on the backgrounds, and then we're going to get a bit more frag talk.
Actually, I have a
Dave.
question. Okay, by the way, I love the whole ensemble, the way you're dressed, the background there looks fantastic. So, what is your opinion of American Girl dolls? 'Cause those are like the modern,
Here, this is my childhood doll, Samantha.
Okay.
So I was born in 1994, so I grew up with these. So yeah, this is Samantha.
Now let's just put that one full screen then. Sorry, can we just go back to Samantha?
Samantha,
so this was
yeah.
the one that sort of started it all for you.
Oh, Samantha, because she looked just like me when I was little. I had the same bangs and everything.
I can see it. Yeah, I can see it. Yeah.
Yeah.
And what's this one's name? The blonde lady? Girl?
Oh, that's Kit. She's in a different outfit, but she's from 1930s is what the character's from, and then this one's
Wow.
1906.
Which one of those dolls there is the oldest? Is the oldest one by year? Like the
This
year
one
that it
came
was made.
first, and then the next year I got this one. So I think I was 10 when I got this one, and then 11 when I got this
Okay.
one.
Wow.
Do you scent your dolls? Do they wear fragrances?
I mean, not these ones, but all of these ones do. I just grab something out of my cabinet and then go.
I thought you might do.
Yeah.
They deserve to. They look great. They deserve to wear a good fragrance.
Yeah, I think so. And I think you've got a bit of a Valentine's theme going on there, haven't you, Kay, with the dolls? Yeah,
exactly. I mean,
they're looking forward to Valentine's Day. Yeah.
Can you guys see it better now?
So some hot male puppets are going to be popping around to try and win their hearts, right?
Puppets.
I need to.
I don't know. What does a doll go out with? I don't know. Action Man or I don't.
So this year my goal is to get Peter Playpal, which usually he's around like $700, and he is the brother to Patty Playpal over there from 1959, and so yeah, Peter is 38 inches tall. So yeah, I
Wow.
really want him. So that's my.
He's
goal.
going to be popular with. Yeah, they'll be fighting over him. Kay, we love it. We love it. Let me quickly cap. Someone help me. No, that was brilliant, Kate. I love it. Let me just catch up on the great super chats. This is a great panel. I love the diversity here. We've got a super chat here from Rachel K. Young. Hey, Rachel, if you want to hop on, that'd be amazing. Fragrance royalty here tonight, and that takes us up to $433. Thank you so much, Rachel K. Young, and that takes up $433 for homeless people in the New York City area. Thank you for hop on. I will now drop the link for other people to hop on because I've only put it in personal messages. I may have missed one super chat there. Angry Dan, there's a 99 cents one coming, and then we're going to just get a little bit more of a Brooklyn fragrance lover theme thing because I do want to do a bit of frag talk on the Tom Ford fragrances, and a lot of people in the community do want a bit more frag talk on the stream, which we are going to deliver now. Just got a feeling I may have. Okay, so I think I got Rob Whiff's one. There's a 99 cents one that I can't quite pick up on, but I'm going to try and find that. Thank you, guys. 138 people watching. We've had a really nice crowd. That's thanks to an amazing panel and, of course, the great friendship the community feels towards the BFL. So thank you, guys. Let's talk a bit of Tom Ford fragrances.
Yeah.
People do come
Can
here.
You've not done Basics background, Dan.
No, you're right. Basic.
I want to know if he's in a hospital or
This
if that's
is
his house.
the Minister of the Interior
Chris,
of Ecuador, Malaco.
Yes, this is a mental hospital, Dan, and I am a fragment of my imagination. So, but seriously, this is my office. You can see there in the background.
So this is not because it almost looks like a green screen. You're actually there.
Like
Your outfit's beautiful too, by the way.
real plants.
He does look good. Yeah, let's be fair.
It always looks awesome.
Yeah. Because with Basics backgrounds, he sometimes has some really, really interesting looking rooms that he's in that almost do look like a green screen. There's another one that you've been in. I don't know if it's another part of your office. It looks it's more not quite as white as that. It's a bit warmer, I think. I don't know if it's your house or your office, but yeah, you've got some cool rooms to film in.
Yeah, well, there's a lot of activity here during the day. It's quite busy, but it's at night. It's very much more. Obviously, there's no one here now, and I can pop my fragrances out and have a lovely stream and have a lovely wine. But it is an amazing view. We're quite high. We can see the mountains here because bear in mind we live in the Andes Mountains. So my city is 2,300 meters above sea level. So it's quite high. So there's a nice weather here. 70 Fahrenheit during the whole year. It barely rains, and it's an amazing weather over here. In Ecuador now, I'll just drop a little fact. In Ecuador now, there's 10,000 people residing now from Canada, New Zealand, Australia, Canada, Europe, because this is a great destination for retiring, because we have the American dollar as a currency, and our cost of living is not that expensive, and it's quite safer than other parts of South America. And you can get a very decent home for a very moderate price and just have a lovely living over here.
Well, you're selling it. That sounds great. I might.
That
come
sounds
over.
wonderful.
Yeah.
Yeah, you
It's
are.
quite good.
You are.
Quite good.
Are you
All
looking
as
for a
ever.
roommate?
Well, yeah, you know what? So when I hit my when I hit my 60s, I'll be looking for a roommate because my kids for now are too much. They occupy a huge bunch of my free time, and I dedicate the little time that I have left to speaking to the Mr. Smelly 1977 stream, which is a lovely stream. And let me just tell you now, tonight has been epic. I mean, we've had Chris from Fragmental, we had Cuba now, we had Redolessence, and we had Kali's Green Room and Kichike. What more can we ask for in a night like this? And I guess that the best part about creating YouTube videos for you creators will be that your work will be remembered later, even if you do pass away,
Yeah.
like the tragedy that we had with Carlos. Your body of work will remain throughout time as long as we can. I mean, because internet, has no limits in regards to time, as far as we know. So whatever you create I think it has to be taken into consideration the fact that this will be maybe eternal if you decide it to be.
Well, let me just, I tell you what I want to do there, because we're going to bring in DDLD in 2 seconds. I'm actually we're going to, if you could just reframe that thought for 1 second, because I want to do the wisdom of Malako second segment. Visit Hull with the £2 super chat. I tinkle in those plants when he's not looking. That takes us to $435. Let's go. Well, the goal now we've raised the goal to 500. Listen, if we don't get it, we don't get it. But 500, let's do it. Thank you. Listen, reframe that, and then we're going to bring in a great new guest with DDLD. But it is now time to receive, because you were getting a bit philosophical there. Philosophical, easy for me to say. And I think it is now time that we receive if I can find the clip. I've got to get that Stream Deck thing, haven't I? We are now going to receive the wisdom of Malako.
The wisdom of Malarco.
Now, at this point, I'll bring in the DDLD, a great friend of the show. Hello, hello, hello. If you just bear with us for a second, we'll greet you properly, Malako. Please carry on with that rather philosophical thought. He will live in. I know he's kind of going to have a certain immortality, isn't he? The Brooklyn fragrance lover.
Yes, well done. You have to take into consideration one thing. At the moment we're creating content that will remain throughout time, videos and media creation type of content is a content that will last for a really long time. Previously, you recall in history, people wrote books and they wrote journals and they kept their thoughts in paper. People do that now, but this new media type of thing, this new way of connecting with people, like we are connecting with a person that created content, and that body of work remains there, so you can access it anytime you want with the click of a button. So as time goes by, the same happens to all of us. We are perishable, so we will like to be remembered in the best way possible, and creating meaningful, transcendental content, even if it's something as possibly considered simplistic as a fragrance, there's still room for creating a meaningful content there. Maybe you can inspire people with your words or your attitude towards life or your mindset. There's many ways in which you can be, in which you can make the world better. So it's a good idea to contemplate your own mortality, first of all, and secondly, to enjoy your time, because as far as we know, this is all we have. So enjoy it.
Basic Malako, thank you for delivering the wisdom of Malako.
The wisdom of Malarco.
That's great. I love that.
That was
Have a new
pretty
guest,
awesome.
joining the stream. Blake, $1.99. Thank you for the generous super chat. We live in the Matrix now. You could be right. $437. Let's get it to 500 tonight. We can do this for the Brooklyn fragrance lover. We're going to now turn our thoughts to a bit on the Tom Ford fragrances and a couple more Brooklyn fragrance lover memories and thoughts from guys here. We've got an amazing panel, Kitschy K, Basic Malarco. We have the amazing Dave from Callie's Green Room. And now we are joined by Joe from the Dry Down Lowdown.
Hello, Joe.
Hello, Chris. Hello, everyone
Joe.
here.
It's been a
First,
while.
if
Great to
I
have you
may,
here. Hello.
if I may, Norton, I am constantly in a tug of war. When I watch Visit Hull's comments, I am torn between what's more cringe, his comments or the fact that you read them out loud. You know what I mean? Like that, I get a little confused. By the way, you had a fantastic panel tonight in the 1970s, because people like to remind me that I'm old and I was around for a while.
They do.
Well,
they
I
do.
mean,
They would call this a cavalcade of stars, is what you had here tonight. You know what I mean? You had Cuba, you had Steven, you got Chris here, who I am convinced next to George Atkinson is creating the finest art in Fragcom, if I may. He is creating videos that are just deeply cinematic, if we could say that. So I just wanted to say that, and I'm happy to
Sometimes, not all the time.
I think you've been killing it lately, man. You've been really delivering some heat lately, is what I'm saying. Norton can learn a thing from you. That's I like to take shots at Dan.
Recall that Chris was the one that suggested the Gucci Guilty Absolute could be worn in the hot weather, which was completely out of my radar. But when you actually wear that fragrance in the hot weather, it is absolutely fantastic.
Yeah.
And I have to say that I would never have imagined to wear that in the weather.
Yeah, you wouldn't think it. You wouldn't think it, would
Yeah,
you?
you
But I was in Mauritius in this really, really high humidity, and all of these sort of lighter, fresher scents that I took with me just weren't lasting. It was something to do with the humidity, and I was craving all these heavier scents, and one of them was Gucci Guilty Absolute, and I just thought, yeah, that would work in that situation. So I'm glad it's working for you, Malago.
Yeah,
the wisdom of fragmental.
Yes, the wisdom of fragmental, indeed. I guess that has to be that cypress note that really resonates in the hot weather. So it's lovely.
Good.
Yeah, good call, Fragmental. By the way, listen, unlikely that if you know my channel, you haven't subscribed to his, but I will just do the courtesy of dropping the link there. Go and listen. Fragmental has a fantastic channel. Hats off to this guy and all the people here. I will share your links through the course of the night. I think you're right there, Chris. I really do sort of poo-poo the overemphasis on the seasonality of fragrances. We all do a summer list and that kind of thing. Although I think those are getting less. You have to be a bit more clever to get the views now. Anyway, I really, there's nothing wrong with smelling fresh in the winter time, and certainly in the evening time, in hot weather, no big deal about wearing something with a little bit more oomph to it, in my humble opinion. What do you think about that, Chris?
Yeah, no, I absolutely agree with you. I think probably part of it has come from YouTubers, and it used to be that we could rely on 4 really well-viewed videos a year, and that was the top 10 seasonal lists. And I think we did those because they were just an easy idea to do. But I think we all know that you can wear a fresh fragrance in the winter, and you can wear a heavier fragrance in the summer. But yeah, there are obviously situations where you could overspray something that wasn't quite appropriate, perhaps in the high heat, maybe. But more often than not, I think as long as you think about how many sprays, I think you can wear whatever you want all the time.
I've got to agree with you overall there. We're going to go. Let's just flip back to a little bit of Brooklyn fragrance lover related stuff, because we're paying tribute to him tonight. DDLD, by the way, we were talking about backgrounds. Obviously, Kay's kind of run away with that. We do have a fantastic background, which is hard to believe, but it does seem to be true from Basic Malarco. But DDLD, this is a bit snazzy. How do you do that?
I have a green screen behind me, and then I make these things in Photoshop and stuff. So I don't know. If you saw the real room I'm in, it's like it's got dormered ceilings. It would look like garbage. So I have to do it.
I dread to think. Yeah.
But it's a good chroma key. It's a good chroma key though, Joe, because there's no the edges are nice and neat on there. There's the odd little flicker here and there, but
Yeah,
You know,
here
let's
and
move
there.
on.
I run everything through OBS, so everything I do is in OBS, and then that allows me to do the chroma key, and you can kind of tweak it in there, and then I do the OBS virtual cam into StreamYard.
Yeah.
So it lets me, kind of mess with things a little bit more than StreamYard would. But I appreciate the compliment there, Dan. But
No,
yeah,
it is good.
it's it would be a boring room otherwise. My son actually bought me a neon. He had my logo made in a neon sign, but then I have to build a wall, so I'm going to have to do that at some point, because when your kid buys you something, you got to use it. You have to do
Absolutely.
that.
Well, yeah. Oh, I think we forgot to analyze my background. Let's put me under the spot.
Yes,
Listen,
museum.
guys.
Iconic.
Yes.
Yeah.
The busts. I think we need the name of the busts in
It's
the
not high
background.
tech, but it's iconic. It's unique in its own. It's unique in its own special way.
It's quite baroque.
Some of them are heavy. Some of them are plastic. You will never know. You will never know which.
It's what we
bust.
associate with you, Dan. And is
It
it
is.
just that wall that we can see, or is the whole room sort of looking similar to that?
Well, there are other corners that
No one's allowed to
The
see.
underpants on the radiator are just out of shot.
Yeah.
It's all about that 16:9. You see what I want you to see. It's all an illusion. Okay, listen. What we're going to do, because Brooklyn Fragrance Lover, and I don't want to sort of. I don't think it's anything bad to say. He was good at having a drink on a video, and we've all got a drink tonight. So let's go around the room, get drink of the night from everybody. New guest first. DDLD. I bet it's an old fashioned, or is it just a straight whiskey?
Dan, it's like you know me now. It's like it's almost like there's a kismet. We're soulmates. Yes, it is an old fashioned. That's what I do have. By the way, Dan, before we move on, can we take this opportunity for you to apologize to Dave Cali? You once said that Svetkov has the best hair in Fragcom. Look at the pompadour that lies for you. I mean, come on. Come on, look at that.
That ain't bad, is it? Look at that hairline. That ain't going anywhere, is it? That ain't going anywhere. That is an impressive hairline. Yeah.
We're waiting.
I'm waiting, Dan. I mean,
Well, we could turn your head
out
up
of all
upside down.
people-
We could turn
out
you
of all-
upside down, and it would be just as
Come on.
impressive. That's the
out of all
disturbing thing.
people, though, it had to be Svetkov. Like, you could have at least picked Malarko.
Yeah,
wouldn't be
we've got
that
some good
upset.
hairlines here. Actually, my show is famous for having a lot of spam on show, but tonight we've got the hairline crew here. Actually, Chris has got a cracking hairline there. Good genetics in the house.
Yeah.
DDLD, you got the cap on, so we can't judge you. Okay,
I don't have
drink
that
of the night. Then let's go to Malarco. I think you've got some nice red wine there.
Yeah, this is a lovely Carmenere from the line of Chile, South America country that is remarkable wine making. They just have their stuff down to a dot when it comes.
Sorry,
to
I was a bit
producing
slow on
wine.
my editing skills there. Just show that
That's
again.
fine. It's a lovely Carmenere done. You can see the detail of the wine. I don't think you can see it, but this is quite consistent. And when it comes to Carmenere, Chile is just absolutely glorious for Carmenere and Merlot. So great one today.
I really like that you bring that. I rather like the red jacket, and the pocket square is on point there. Malarco. Okay.
Yeah,
Chris, are you
it's a
still on the?
tribute.
Is
It's a
it
tribute.
still the Hazy Jane there, Chris?
Yeah, just slowly working my way through. Almost done, but it's a nice drop.
Yeah, but you're quite fond of the whiskies, aren't you too?
Yeah. I'm going up to Edinburgh next week, so I'm saving my whiskey drinking until then, because I feel like there might be a few whiskeys drunk.
Are you going to see George Atkinson up there?
Yes, I am.
Good. How's he doing? Is he back in action with his channel now, or I know he had a little bit of going on with his film career. So I don't know if because he was saying to me he's going to be back on like several videos a week, but have things taken a turn with him?
Yeah, I think he was filming a few videos, but he's also talking to people about his next project. I think he's been quite heavily involved in writing the next project, so I think that's been taking up a lot of his time at the moment.
All right, it was great to see you having a cameo role in his much acclaimed short film there from I always get this wrong. It's
From
either
here
from
to
here to there, from here to there, not from there to here.
Yeah.
From here to there. That was really good. We did review that here, and you got a star rating. Okay, Callie's Green
Hey,
Room. Are you
fun? Sorry, Dan.
Sorry.
Fun fact. Not a fun fact, really, but an interesting
Go on,
fact.
yeah.
You know the in the news at the moment, the lady who's gone missing. Have you
Yeah.
seen all that? She took a dog for a walk
Yeah.
by a river, and she went missing. They found her phone and on the bench and her dog, and she was nowhere to be found. That bench is the bench that the character sits on in George's film.
Oh
Wow.
my god.
Yeah, he
That is so awful.
phoned me up to tell me, and he couldn't believe that. It's a crazy situation, but it's a good job he's
I'll
not
have to
filming
rewatch
around
the.
there at the moment.
This has been a huge story now. We should probably touch on this. Yeah, because apparently the police really went. I can't believe that that's such a weird coincidence. And the police really went with this. That they were adamant that she must have just fallen into the river. It was just an accident, which still could
it's
be the
quite
case.
shallow river.
But it seems a little odd. Yeah, there's something a bit odd about that theory, right? But and people are saying, well, they've searched it and they can't find the body. We hope there is no body, but it doesn't look good.
It's about 15
yeah.
days now. I think she's been missing, and
Horrific.
no one can work it out. It's just it's just a mystery, and because it's such a mystery, it's sort of captured the imagination, the interest of the country, hasn't it? All the news outlets putting stories out, and you've got all these amateur sleuths that are turning up at this place trying to figure things out, and they want a bit of ones to crack the case. It's weird.
How dark? Yeah. Out of respect to the family who must be going through hell, I probably won't go into it too much. But yeah, there does seem a little question mark over the they did seem to go with a very heavy theory that she just fell into the river, and a lot of people are thinking. But hey, we don't know all the facts. Horrible. Best wishes to those people suffering with that story. Okay, now it could be cocktail hour very soon. So, hands up if I didn't get you a drink of the night. Yeah, well, I'm building up to you, Kitchi K, because you are the cocktail queen. I think this could be Mr. Smully's cocktail hour, guys. Let's find out what Kitchi. She's going to blend one, and she's also got the parrot is on screen here, guys. It's time. I beg your pardon.
No blending. I switched it out.
I like it. No problem. Let's go for where's cocktail hour? I really need DDLD. I need the stream deck, don't I? I need the stream
You
deck.
do.
The way I'm doing this is just it's amateur hour. Here it is, guys. It's cocktail hour with Mr. Smith.
Did that just freeze up, or is it on my end?
Sorry?
Did it freeze up, or is that on my end?
We have a few technical
It didn't freeze for me.
Okay. Kitchi K, introduce Lala and your cocktail of the night, please, madam.
Here's Lala. She's a Catalina macaw. Here.
Look at that.
You say hi?
It's like a room filled of my worst nightmares. Birds, birds and dolls. I have a thing. Birds freak me out. I had a friend that had a bird go into her house, and it would fly around my head, and it would make me very nervous. So this entire room, congratulations, Kay, and I think you did this just to antagonize me. The room
yes, just for you.
It's filled with my worst nightmares. Blinking down.
Really? Is she really your worst nightmare? Like, are you serious?
No, Betty Page is not my
She's
worst
in
nightmare.
your best dreams.
Betty Page is a fantastic woman from her era.
Yeah.
The dolls are, that's a different story.
Hey, Joe.
Yeah.
I really apologize for all 487 old man jokes that I've made towards you over the past couple of years. Sorry about that.
You know, I don't understand it. I mean, clearly I'm young and hip. You know, I'm going to say a word right now like lit, and that lets you know how young I am.
No. Don't say that. Or I'll take what I just said back. Don't say
I don't
that.
know. I was trying to be cool. You know, I don't know what I'm supposed to say. What the hell was that, Kay? Let's see that again.
Hello Kitty.
Oh my God!
Ooh.
So these are permanently
Hello
affixed?
Kitty nails. I like it. I like it. Hey, I can relate to that. That's really good. Okay, unless I missed something, you're about to mix us up your drink of the night. I'm very excited about this.
All right, so
we go,
here
guys.
I have a red solo cup full of Italian creamer. Italian creamer. Yeah, that's the word. And then I have breakfast blend, medium blend coffee. I don't know. I'm American, so sorry if my coffee sucks.
Sounds good. It sounds good. I'm liking it so far. Yep.
All right, and then this is what I'm gonna mix it in. So I'm gonna start with these fabulous babies here. These are 99 espresso liqueur, which I have nailed.
That's it.
Now, does part of the recipe require we open the bottle with our mouth?
Yeah.
All right, fair enough.
I think that's how most bartenders do it. To be honest, the best ones do that.
Yeah, the ones with really long nails do it.
Right.
And like I only put these on just before the stream because I can't live with these.
Well, since you put them on for the stream, could you just show us when you've opened this next? Yeah, they are beautiful. That is very exquisite. Thank you. Okay. I love this segment of my show. I'm so proud of what we've created here. Keep it going. Here we go.
You don't see this in Edinburgh, don't you, Chris?
You'd have to pay
Okay,
extra.
in there, Kay, in there you've got coffee creamer. What have you got in there now, Kay?
Well, maybe I shouldn't because.
No, go for it. You've got coffee creamer and these other two coffee liqueur things. And whatever you're going to do.
Okay, so right here I have 2 coffee liqueur shots, so that's 2 shots. And then I've got creamer. Let's add the creamer first because this coffee's hot, so we want to make it cool first. I think that's about good. It's about halfway.
Yes.
And then just a bit of. Can you see me? No. Okay.
Yeah, I like it. Hey, nice.
So now it.
Hey, by the way, Kay, your red top looks really good with the black undertop. You look very stylish.
Yeah,
You look très chic. I like it.
Thank you.
Okay.
But yeah, so sweet coffee liqueur drink.
Oh, I bet that tastes great.
And I name it Sweet Sue after her. That's Sweet Sue from 1953.
I like that. Sweet Sue, 1953. And hey, Kate, you and me are part of the Cardboard Cup posse. We are the classiest acts on the streams. See, hey guys, we're going to now move to a little section on the Tom Ford fragrances. We're going to get the opinions of Fragmental, Basic Malarco, Callie's Green Room, DDLD, myself, and Kitschy Kate on the best Tom Ford fragrances in honor of our great friend who is so sadly missed. And, you know, although we've moved on a little bit, the whole night is dedicated to the Brooklyn fragrance lover, and hence $437 raised so far. Keep them coming. Let's get 500. And remember, don't give that parrot any of that drink, please. I dread to think what could happen. We do need those super chats, guys.
Super chat now, click the dollar sign if you don't know how. Super chat now, click the dollar sign if you don't know how.
Hey, Dan, did you see that Jeremy's done a commercial for Aldi in Germany? Have you seen that?
Oh, I saw something and I thought it was someone like a troll comment. It's actually real.
Yeah, it's real.
It's real.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
I thought he'd done a fragrance in collaboration with Aldi, and then at the end, it's advertising bread.
Bread. Yeah.
Wow. So basically, does it seem that through his appearance on the Big Brother thing, he's just become a general celebrity in Germany at the level where he can do that kind of stuff now?
Yeah, I guess maybe he was sort of already
May have
famous enough
already.
even before, but yeah, he only did it for a week or something, didn't he? The Big Brother.
Yeah, he dropped out. Yeah,
Yeah,
but
see,
he
like
is.
over here on American Idol, I think it was. We had William Hung. It was this Asian guy.
Oh man, I remember him.
Yeah, like is Jeremy like that's what I'm trying to figure out because obviously I'm never over there. Is he like a William Hung now? Because I know he was on the show for just a little window of time.
Could be.
And they were making fun of him from the clips that I saw. They were making fun that he never changed his clothes and all that kind of thing. And in that Aldi commercial, he's wearing the same suit. And I'm wondering, is he like kind of a goofy character now? Because that's kind of how it came across.
Okay, that makes sense because they're really leaning into Jeremy's shtick, what he does on his TikTok, the power, the white suit, the dance moves. I was surprised that Aldi were thinking, oh, that might sell some bread for us, but obviously famous enough for it to work, I guess.
It very well may. I would have thought because I over here we have Aldi, but they don't sell fragrances. But I know over there they do, and I figured that's the same as you, Chris. I thought it was like, or maybe Dan said that. I thought it was a fragrance commercial. I thought he had done some collaboration with, and then the bread loaf came on. And
he's still on a beach holding a baguette or something.
Yeah, it was pretty funny.
Yeah. Germany, I don't know what it is like. Sometimes like European humor is really weird. You know, like people say British and American humor is different, but I think it's more the same than if you compare to like some of the European countries. The humor is very different there. So yeah, maybe what he does. Yeah,
I think the UK and the American comedy has kind of come together now. I remember when I was younger, it felt like there was a chasmic difference between the British comedies. They would air here on our public broadcasting system. So it wasn't on like regular channels. And I remember I would try to watch it. Like there was such a disconnect from what we thought comedy was and what you guys had as comedy. But now I think we've kind of come into your brand of comedy a little bit more. I know that your model of television has become adopted by us in a big bad way. Like we do those limited series where you guys, I think, were the pioneers of the limited series. And I know now I appreciate those a little bit more. And now I will what they call STFU and let somebody else say something.
No, you don't need to. Yeah, no, I mean, things like I think like Seinfeld is amazing. Curb Your Enthusiasm is probably my favorite comedy series ever from any country. So I think that there's a fair crossover. But yeah, but you guys sometimes associate our humor with Monty Python or something, which a lot of people in England think is a bit like lame. It's sort of okay. You know, I don't. Chris, we're the same age. We believe it or not, we are the same age, and but we probably only saw reruns. But Monty Python there are some funny moments, but it's not exactly. We don't sit there watching that kind of thing, or Benny Hill every day, do we?
There was that brand of British humour that was sort of more silly, wasn't there? Definitely.
Yeah,
And it was sort of so silly that it was beyond silly that it became funny again. I guess that's the whole Monty Python thing. But then I feel like you've got the sort of irony and the satire style of humour, which I think more is what Joe's talking about. I think I see that now more in American TV more than I used to, but I think that's a very British thing, and the satire can sometimes go under the radar. Sometimes people don't quite get it, and I do bits on my channel and I see it all the time. People will make comments that they think I've made a mistake and they've missed the joke. The joke's gone over their head, so they're but I do think it's coming together. I agree with Joe.
Yeah, I agree. Rachel K. Ung, hop on by the way if you want. Are you being served Faulty Towers? Yeah, these are great mid to late 70s shows.
Hello, hello.
See,
Oh
and
my
that's
god.
Some mothers do have them.
Oh,
Those-
some mothers do have them. Yeah, that is incredible. Yeah, the kind of 70s stuff is it's bizarrely hilarious. Yeah, it's a
Yeah.
different world. Are You Being Served is incredible. Faulty Towers very funny. Mr. Bean is awesome. Well, he's kind of trying. Yeah, you're right there, Kitchy Kate. Well, Kate, you're actually on the panel, so speaking, you can, you can speak to. Perhaps that's your side that I'm not giving you enough attention. Kate, why do you think Kitchy Kate? Why do you think Mr. Bean is awesome?
I don't know if I'm like all that coherent because this isn't my first drink.
You're in the right place. That's fine. It's fine. It doesn't matter.
So I was reading the chat and I'm like, oh, I know a British show that I watched every episode of. That Mr. Bean guy with the big eyebrows. He's hilarious.
Does Basic have a favourite British comedy character? I'm curious what the wisdom of Malako is on British comedy.
Well, I'm more modern, Chris. I pretty much enjoy Ricky Gervais, but I have to appreciate Rowan Atkinson's, because first of all, it goes over people's head that he's got a really high IQ, and also he's a multi-millionaire. So I guess there's something in that type of humor that requires much more creativity than just using maybe just like silly language or something like that. So Rowan Atkinson is a legend, but Ricky Gervais does it for me. I mean, The Office was just superb. Then Extras, it was really it's all right. But I mean, then later on, lately he did a series for Netflix called Afterlife. I pretty much enjoy that one. And
Yeah.
he has a recurring cast, pretty much like Christopher Guest did with in the Spinal Tap and after the Best in Show and all of Mighty Wind and all of this stuff. So they are both aligned in that type of comedy, which is satirical and is like fake documentary type of style of comedy. I pretty much like that.
Yeah, I do
All
too.
right,
Yeah, I love that.
I'll catch up on the chat there. Great to get the feedback from the community, guys. Hey, guys, don't you can still super chat 437. Let's get to 500 if we can. Love Bean. Yeah, Bean. Bean translated to all countries because it's no language needed. Monty Python is hilarious. Says Rachel K. Thank you. Yeah, there are some great moments on that. Monty Python, Life of Brian is a classic. Yeah, that was really, because it was viewed as sacrilegious, very daring at the time. Yeah, it is very funny. The Devil's Advocate. Well, yeah, you're the right person to make that comment. Thank you so much. But yeah, on the other hand, I really, let's be clear. Dave B says, and I completely agree. I'm a Brit. Curb, Seinfeld, and Sanders, Larry Sanders faves. Yeah. Listen, Curb, I don't think there's anything I've ever seen funnier. There's nothing. Curb Your Enthusiasm was still in the days when I had to go and buy the DVD, and I bought every series. Incredibly funny, incredibly daring, incredibly politically incorrect, but not in a kind of racist or breaking boundaries. I guess he could get away with it because he's Jewish or whatever, but really provocative and very, very laugh out loud, ridiculously funny. Loved it. In a completely different vein, Dan, Blackadder. Yeah, Blackadder was a great historical, hilarious thing. Steptoe, on a different note there, if you lived in Britain in the 80s or more the 70s, but we got the reruns, Steptoe and Son was funny. You dirty old man. You disgusting old man.
Over here,
you remember that, Chris? Fragmental. Did you watch Steptoe and
I
Son?
did. Yeah, I did. I watched a little bit of Steptoe and Son. Yeah,
I believe
disgusting old man.
Our Sanford and Son was based off of Steptoe.
Oh, right.
Yeah. This happens a lot, doesn't it? Yeah.
I think we steal from you guys all the time. I think that's what
you had that slightly bigoted character. I can't remember his
Archie
name,
Bunker.
but wasn't that supposed to be based on our bloke called Alf Garnett or something? Yeah.
Yep. All in the Family. Yeah, it was based on a show from over there. And for me, we live in a time now, and I assume it's very similar over there, where you can't do certain things the way you used to be able to do them. But the beauty of those shows back then is that it illustrated all of the people that we deal with. We navigate our way around a lot of different people that maybe don't align with us, politically or socially or whatever. And we found ways to work around it. And that was what was cool about those shows, and now we can't examine that the way we used to be able to do back then. And I think that's a shame. Real quick though, has everyone here watched Afterlife, Gervais?
Yeah.
I think that's one of the most brilliant shows I really that I think I've seen in quite a while. I mean, the way that they mixed comedy with really poignant, heartfelt material was
must be really hard to do that. I think.
And in Ricky Gervais, bear in mind, Ricky Gervais does have a philosophy degree from a university in England. I don't know which exactly it is, but his trajectory is quite fascinating. I remember listening to him from his XFM days in the radio when he was with Carl Pilkington and Stephen Merchant. At the same time as Russell Brand. So those shows were hilarious. If you can find them on YouTube, just pop them in your car and you'll have those are great. And they also did podcasts. They recorded podcasts. They did a series like a guide to society, a guide to Law and Order. So it's I mean, that guy, he's a comedy genius, and he's up there with Larry David in my view.
Yeah.
But what great those podcasts were sort of Ricky and Stephen Merchant, and then Carl Pilkington, I think, was the producer.
According to Ricky Gervais, is a bald-headed twat. I mean, I don't know what that means, but I'm just repeating what he said. But I mean, that's in XFM apparently. So the Ricky Gervais and Stephen Merchant had a radio show on XFM.
Bald-headed twat, basically.
Bald-headed twats can do all right, I think.
So apparently they were handed out, like Carl Pilkington was just randomly appearing on their show, and they just sort of let him speak a little bit, and they just found out that this was this comedic mind. I mean, it is. I think it's accidental, but ultimately, Carl Pilkington ended up making a series. Also, he traveled around the world. I mean, it was An Idiot Abroad. It was called.
Well, that's what I was going to say. That he was never meant to be the star, but he emerged accidentally as the star of those podcasts, and now he not only gets his own TV shows, I think, on Sky called An Idiot Abroad, but he's getting acting roles now, and he's good in them as well. Yeah. So I love it.
And Russell Brand also appeared at the same time as those guys did. He also was in XFM at that time. And now look at him; he's a major YouTuber. He's highly influential.
I used to download
Russell Brand.
He had a radio. Was it a Radio One over there? Is what that's called? I think
it's called XFM. XFM.
Can I just quickly catch up there? Because got some comments and super chats. The Devil's Advocate, The In-Betweeners. Yeah, the In-Betweeners. From what I haven't watched tons of it, but that is very clever and funny. I do agree. And Lewis P. Official. Hop on if you want. By the way, I'm going to drop the chat. Yeah, great one. He's going back to the classics here. £5 super chat takes up to $442. I think this is my record super chats ever, and it is all going to New York City charity Coalition for the Homeless Alliance or something. It is real. Honestly, it's not going into my bank account. There is a real charity, and we are sending all the money, and I will provide receipts. I just can't remember the name.
I don't know, Norton. Last time there was a charity, drive on here, you went on a shopping spree that week. I saw it, so I don't know. I think we're getting ready to see Dan buy some really high dollar fragrances.
So are we going to see an
eBay
major
shopping
haul?
one more time? Yes.
Are we going to see a major vintage fragrance haul video pretty soon? Like coming down the pipeline.
And he blatantly does it on a Monday, like right after the stream. Like he goes on a Monday, he goes target shopping.
Evangelical preachers.
You're absolutely shameless, Norton. Shameless.
Dan, if I was you, I would buy a shit ton of fragrances and just do a haul video anyway.
It's not. No, please. I promise you. Lewis P. Official, £5. Thank you. I really appreciate that, Lewis.
No,
some others do
own
have them.
money.
Is brilliant with Michael Crawford, great guy. Keeping up appearances, Hyacinth Bucket, yes, funny. Open all hours. It's been a funny old day. That was brilliant with Mr. Arkwright. The Young Ones was hilarious. Only Fools and Horses, brilliant. 40 Towers, Mr. Bean. Yeah, lots of different styles there. Some of them I liked more than others, but they were all very intriguing. So yeah, great. Yeah, good combo. I liking this, guys. Coupling is largely forgotten. Oh yeah, that was kind of early 2000s. It was yeah, I
Yeah,
quite
that
like
was
the
a good
lady in
show too. I enjoyed that. Young Ones over here, I don't know how it was received over there, but we used to have there would be Headbangers Ball on MTV, and then the Young Ones would air in that block in that time. So for all the metal people and the punk people, the Young Ones was like this underground thing here in America that we all loved. And you know, there was I guess it was from over there too, a show called Man Down, and Rick Mail was on that when he died, and that's another hilarious show. If anybody, I think it was on Netflix last I saw over here in the States. If you have that, check that show out, man. I had a lot of great laughs with that.
And Bottom
Yeah.
as well. I remember watching Bottom when I was younger. Rick Mail was great on that as
Our
well.
Bottom was hilarious, wasn't it, Chris? Yeah, because
Yeah.
we must. Well, we're a very similar age, so we would have been watching that in our sort of mid to early teens. And some of the scenes where they attacked people with frying pans and stuff were just. It was bleak. When you look back, it was a kind of a bleak kind of world that they lived in, and it sort of
It was.
summed up early '90s Britain or something.
Yeah.
But we just took it as a norm. There wasn't, it wasn't that long ago, but there was no internet, and it just kind of reminds me of nights probably in front of watching the TV with an electric fire in front of my feet or something. And it's not that long ago. Yeah, Bottom was very clever. Listen, let's not make it all. You're right. For me, like American people love Rodney Dangerfield. Is it Rodney Dangerfield?
Yeah.
The king of the one-liners, mopping his brow. He's on the talk show. I mean, that guy is really, really clever. The one-liners are brilliant, and so I love all that stuff. Okay, let's turn it back to a little bit of frag stuff. We won't go much beyond 3 hours. Amazing panel. Listen, we've raised a lot of money for the charity, mate. Speaking of comedy shows, remember Harry Enfield and what was it called? The Harry Enfield.
Could we put Malarco full screen real quick?
Let's go
Can you
Malarco.
hold those
Yeah,
back up?
let's
Yes,
talk
going-
forward.
What's he got?
Going back to the theme of the stream, which was the remembering of the great late Brooklyn fragrance lover. This one is a particularly fantastic fragrance by Tom Ford. It's called Oud Wood Intense. This is a different take on oud wood, and it is upped in the castoreum and the cypress, which is in the ginger, particularly a very potent fragrance to be worn in an office setting when you are the boss of the meeting only. And the classic of all classics, songs have been made out of this fragrance. Rappers have rapped about this. This is called Tuscan Leather, another great creation for the private blends in remembrance of Brooklyn's fragrance lover. And let's not forget the couple. The polar opposites, Ombre Leather and Beau de Jour.
Yeah, Beau de
Both
Jour
of
is
these
great.
are great. This one, classy, gentlemanly, suit and tie type of fragrance. This one is a bit more playful, more daring, more youthful. Both of these are also superb.
Great selections there. Yeah, and I'm sure Brooklyn Fragrance Lover would approve. So we'll do a couple more Tom Ford selections. Let's go to Chris, then Kitschy K. So Chris, anything else you want to say about how Brooklyn Fragrance Lover kind of influenced you, and or any other Tom Fords that you really like, or any other memories? Must have been fun to go into that legendary shoot. His room to me is a kind of a shrine of Francom, isn't it? Really?
Yeah, it was kind of like going on to the set of your favorite TV show or something. It was crazy. But yeah, some good memories, and the video I mentioned that we shot and edited but we didn't upload. He said to me, "I owe you one in Milan," and then we never went to Milan, so we couldn't do it. So I had him booked for another video, and it never happened, unfortunately. He loved his Tom Ford. That's what the video was about that we never uploaded. Of course, his favorite I think was Amber Absolute, and I would also add that I've recently just found Tuscan leather intense, which is actually strangely less intense, I think, than Tuscan leather. Nice, it's a little drier, it's a little easier to wear. Actually, it's not quite as potent, not as doesn't lean into the leather quite as much. I love Plum Japonais is amazing, and both the tobacco ouds are favourites of mine. And yeah, I love Noir de Noir as well. The private blend is a great line. I think it does some really good stuff in that. But also ombre leather parfum basic. I don't know if you've smelt that, but again, that
I did.
is what Tuscan leather intense is to Tuscan leather. It's a slightly drier, greener, lighter fragrance. Actually, maybe leans a little more mature than ombre leather, which is a bit more playful, I think.
Yep.
But
Exactly.
one of my favorite, I think, designer brands. It's Tom Ford and Dior, which are probably the leaders for me, my favorites.
Sadly, Chris, Tom Ford brand has been sold out
I know,
to
yeah.
Lauder, so we no longer will see those creations from Tom Ford. I guess the new ones are popping out are maybe just a continuation of his brand, but he's no longer the creative director. So I guess for those of us who have had the experience, I remember Carlos specifically because when I was in college, I bought Italian Cypress because I had no idea that I eventually will end up on YouTube on an England channel or something like that. But I throw away that battle, fool me. But I believe I watched his review for that and Costa Azura, and it was quite fantastic that I got sold, and I went ahead and got those, and I enjoyed them all throughout the summer, and it was particularly fantastic, the Costa Azura, and the obviously the Italian Cypress, which is a lost gem. So I guess for all of us who remember Carlos's work and his recommendation, and Dan has got it. Look at that.
Yeah. Kichi K, do you have any more Tom Ford or Brooklyn fragrance lover related thoughts for us there?
I loved how warm and inviting and kind his presence was, how happy he was, how genuinely invested in every review he was. Like, he was just really an amazing personality in the community. He like any collab that he did, he would just light up the collab because he's just a positive energy. He loved cats, which I love cats, so I thought that was really awesome. He had like cat sweatshirts and t-shirts and stuff. My favorite Tom Ford fragrance is the Standout Lost Cherry. She's a modern icon, in my opinion.
Lost Cherry. Yeah, brilliant. Okay, thank you. That's lovely. Okie dokie. DDLD. Any kind of I'm going to wrap up with one sort of memory there, and I'll wrap up in a minute. But if anyone else, Callie's Groom Room or DDL hasn't had a last thought there, I'll go to DDLD. Last thoughts, kind of, what was your impression overall of the late, great Carlos? And if you got any more Tom Ford thoughts, that'd be great.
So what's that noise? Oh.
I don't know.
Oh, could you hear that? Oh, that was me touching the speaker on my computer. I didn't, but it's not the mic. The microphone's coming from something else, I think, unless it isn't. Anyway,
now it's okay now. I don't know. Okay, let's go back to DDLD. Yep.
So I'm kind of odd man out. I watched Carlos, but not a whole lot. When I came into this community, he wasn't around too much longer after that. So most of the people that when I first was watching, it was Ross, and I watched Chris, and I watched Cuba, who was here earlier and left, and Steven and stuff like that, and Dan, which I don't like to admit out loud, But so But I of what I did watch of him, I really enjoyed his presence. I thought he was really cool. As far as Tom Ford goes, Oud Wood is just a personal favorite of mine. The only two left here, I'm out of Oud Wood, and I love Beau de Jour, but when the woman wears this, and I know this isn't super popular, but I love Bitter Peach. I love the smell in the air, and I still wear Ebony Fume, the Palo Santo vibe of this. I really enjoy, and again, I don't think it's for everybody. The two new ones, if we can for a second, the electric cherry and the cherry smoke, I don't
Garbage.
really, yeah, it's just trash. Really, the price is way too much for both of those. So those are my thoughts on Tom Ford and and all that kind of stuff.
All right, we'll go to Callie's Groom Room.
I have to say this because I instantly thought this. So back when I was at Scent Explorer and I stopped at the Tom Ford boutique in Saks Fifth Avenue, I remember walking away after we spent quite some time there, and I said to my girlfriend, I would love for Carlos to be around right now because I would love to know what he would think of the new Tom Ford fragrances and the pricing. Because I could hear him say, because, even if he didn't like something, he had a unique way of still maintaining professionalism without coming across. Because let's face it, sometimes when we're trying to, gently say that we don't really care for this, we kind of come off as like a jerk, or we can by accident. You know what I mean? But he had this I don't want to say unintentional because it definitely was intentional, but I could hear him say like, Mr. Tom Ford, what are you doing? What are you doing to your brand? Why are you doing this to us? Like,
He
I could
sold
hear
it.
him
He
saying all
sold
these
it,
like
David. He
I
sold
could
it.
hear-
It's no longer his. It's Estée Lauder's now.
No,
He stepped
know
out of the brand. He just moved out the whole thing. He sold Tom Ford fragrances, Tom Ford fashion, everything. Now he's retired. Apparently, in Miami now. He's got a $51 million home.
Yeah.
Somewhere down in the south of Florida. So I mean, that's what happens with every brand, though. If you see the trajectory of those big brands like Lacoste and Dior and all of those, they end up selling out to these big conglomerates of companies who you produce a whole different thing. It's different.
I agree with what you're saying, but also at the same time, we have to think about this now. If you were Tom Ford in that situation, okay, and somebody says, I'm willing to pay you $2.4 billion to buy your business, are you really going to turn that down? Nope.
I'm willing to sell out for $25,000 right now. I don't. I mean, I don't have a high dollar, and I have nothing.
You know what
to
I mean? I mean, we could be upset because we're passionate about our hobby, and that's great. But I mean, at the end of the day, money talks, and I mean, Christ, $2.4 billion. I mean, I'm with you guys. I agree. I don't like. I'm looking at 4 of what I consider these to be Tom Ford gems, and we may not ever see something like this ever again.
Yeah.
Like these iconic, treasures from the Tom Ford line. So I want to briefly run through these because I'm sure at one point or another you guys have heard of these. But this one needs to get more love. It's an underrated, what I consider a gem anyway, and that's Tom Ford Black Orchid. This is the Parfum. I love this stuff, especially for folks that have tried the original Black Orchid, men specifically.
Mhm.
If you thought that the original Tom Ford Black Orchid was too feminine, you're wrong, but I'll play along. This would be your more masculine alternative here with added notes of rum. You still have that truffle, but it's a little bit more, it has more depth, more earthiness to it. I could move past Tobacco Vanille because we all know it, but this is a vintage bottle, if you will. This is before they started putting Tom Ford on the top of the plate here. So I believe this is 2018, and ombre leather we know and love. But I'm actually, at first I didn't quite care for the Parfum that much. If you see my first impressions, I was kind of I wanted to love it, and I had the opposite reaction. But And Chris, this was to your point kind of earlier. If you wear ombre leather parfum when it gets warm out, I don't know about the summer, but I know for the springtime, and like here on the East Coast of the United States, our spring is weird because it could be in the 70s one day and then 55 the next and 63 the day after. Okay.
Yeah.
So it can still be relatively cool here in the springtime. And the florals that are in ombre leather parfum really pop when the weather gets warm. And it's kind of what happens is the leather becomes a bit more balmy. So it has kind of like this balsamic kind of texture to it. It's really beautiful, and I think this may be daring, but I think it's more interesting than the original ombre leather. If I'm being honest here,
Yeah.
and my favorite from Tom Ford ever is Tobacco Oud Intense.
Man, I cannot find that anywhere. I just want to find it so bad.
You know,
It isn't.
you know, you may be able to find it. Or do you have? Yeah, you have access to Harrods. If you don't locally, you could still access Harrods
I
online,
did
right?
look for Harrods, Selfridges. I've looked everywhere. I'll tell you, and it cannot be found. I missed an opportunity when I went to Vegas. Oddly enough, I went to one of these fragrance outlets, and I had it in my hands. And you know what? I don't know if this happens to you sometimes, but I said, this may be too expensive. I'll just pass on this for now. But then it never comes back again. So I guess when you get the chance, just get it, because the chances like that don't come back again.
Yeah.
Yes, you're right in a sense, but I do understand where you're coming from, because you really because this is an investment, right? Any Tom Ford fragrance at this point is an investment. You really have to love it to be willing to pull the trigger on it, you know?
Yeah.
And Chris, you said you found Tuscan Leather Intense, right?
Yeah, and a TK Maxx.
TK Maxx, yeah.
Wow. Unbelievable.
I'm still blown away by the difference of TJ Maxx and TK Maxx. Or at least
Yeah,
that's
right.
the one you went. Where was that? Leeds you were at? That TK Maxx?
Yeah. I think it's because there's a store in the UK called TJ Hughes, so they couldn't call it TJ Maxx.
It's a copyright issue. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, there we go. Listen, I'm gonna. I don't know if you were wrapping it up anyway, Dan, but I
think we will. I think we will. I think we'll wrap this up right now. Let's all end together. Thank you.
Okay.
Amazing show. We're just over the 3-hour mark. Thank you to Fragmental, Chris. Well, thank you to Dave Kelly's Groom Room, Joe.
Thank you, Dan.
DDLD,
Thank you.
Danilo, Basic Malarco, and Kitschy K. I'll go backstage if anyone wants to. This has been a really
Absolutely.
nice show, and the main theme was to say salut and God bless you to the amazing Carlos, the Brooklyn fragrance lover. And the point is, we did not forget you, and we had some amazing guests earlier also from your side of the pond there. Amazing show. Thank you so much. We'll go backstage now. We'll see you in the next episode. Let's all remember, Brooklyn fragrance lover. Thank you, everybody here. Good night.
cheers, Dan. So long, Carlos.
Peace.
Thank you.
Cheers, everyone.
Thank you.